T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to Trap Talk Reptile Podcast. Thursday night belongs to the Trap, episode 412. We got Brock Wagner on his third way here to the Trap stage. What is good, everybody? I'm your boy, MJ. Man, I feel better. I don't know if you guys noticed, or even remember me saying, but I've been sick as a dog last week or so, but I am back. I feel like I'm ready to rock and roll. But, man, shout out to everyone out there. If this is your first time hanging out with us, what is good? Smash that like button. If you're into Brock Wagner Reptiles and what he's been doing, if you're into Trap Talk, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, select all. You'll be on top of every single podcast I drop here. Trap Talk's on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights. Consistently, does not miss. All right, if you're wondering what 3 nights those are, Monday night is New Breeder on the Block series. I only bring the up-and-coming, sickest, newest breeders that I've been noticing and whatnot, and sit down with them and whatnot. Really awesome to see the new people, the fresh blood into this. So that's really awesome. Tuesday's new Tuesday night segment officially starts next week. Actually, it's going down Saturday for Trapsgiving. It's a special episode, not really a typical Trap Talk episode on a Saturday night, right? But either way, come join us if you want to come hang out with me and some heavy hitters. Trapsgiving, okay? But anyways, Tuesday nights, all up in the tree Tuesdays. That's right. I got my man, Bill Stiegel, a.k.a. the mayor of Caldrotown himself, and Marshall Mendez, Red Mountain Herps, co-hosting this awesome segment with me. Primarily green tree pythons. I'm even going to lie to you. It's going to be a lot of green tree python discussions and guests and roundtables and you name it. Super heavy, arboreal type activity happening Tuesday nights. All right. So if you're out there wondering what it is about the green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, tree monitors, you name it, all the amazing reptiles that are high up in the trees, not hiding underground or under rocks. Tuesday night's your night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. All right. And then, of course, we have Thursday nights, man. We all know Thursday nights belong to the Trap. Brock Wagner, stoked. So anyways, real important if you subscribe to the channel because you'll be on top of all that. You know, if you're into keeping reptiles and just want to learn more, this is it. This is a place to be. Shout out to all the early birds. I see you guys. I'll get to you guys in a minute. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you like to support what I do, or if you want to just kind of get more behind the scenes and get a little bit more than each episode out of each episode, go down to the very first link you see in the description below. Click on it. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Trap Talk Patreon family, you will get a link to a Discord that attached to it with over 185 trappers. We also have an amazing Trap Talk Instagram group that is cracking 24/7. So either way, lots of diversity, but also longevity keepers, man. If you're just looking to network yourself the right way and you're new into this, don't feel lost. Come kick it with me and the trappers, man. We're here to grow and help you grow. So let's do this. All right. And every Sunday we get together with my boy, Big E Top G, Villarino Reptiles and his crew, the V Unit family. And every Sunday, Zoom meetings, man. So it's a lot more than just kind of, Instagram group chats and Discords and whatnot. We actually get face-to-face every Sunday. So tap in with us, man, especially if you want to get a lot more than out of what you have already. Meet people, man, because I've been telling this on every, I don't know, I can't say every episode, but I feel like I do. But second best thing about what we do is the people, because the people lead you to the next step. So either way, my Patreon family, you guys are my heart. I love you guys. Also love you if you support US ARC. Please, first and foremost, you got to support US ARC if you're involved into breeding reptiles, man. Even if you are a pet keeper, US ARC is important. It involves all of us. So if you're out there wondering what is US ARC, don't worry. Go down to the description below. Click on usarc.org. Check it out. Become a member. Come join the team. Shout out to Phil Goss. Shout out to the entire US ARC team out there. Appreciate you guys. Really means a lot to have something like this to protect what I love, and that's my animals. You guys know that. So shout out to you if you support US Art. And then super stoked. All right. Shout out to tonight's sponsor, which is the Reptile Breeder Show happening here in the West Coast, Los Angeles, California. It's going down December 9th. Let's go. It's going to happen 10 a.m. to 5 o'clock on a Saturday. All right. There's free admission with the RSVP. So if you just go to reptilebreedershow.com and set your RSVP, you get in for free. Okay. Worst case scenario, $10 at the door, which isn't anything, but I feel like this is amazing to have, especially on the West Coast. We're not like Texas and a lot of the other states where shows are just cracking every weekend. It just doesn't work like that for us. But this right here is going to be amazing. It's going to be dope. And I cannot wait. Shout out to the sponsors of this show, which is Bunker R21 and Ship Your Reptiles. And it looks like Morph Market as well. So either way, guys, make sure you head over to reptilebreedershow.com, set that RSVP. A lot of ball pythons, but also a lot of other cool species as well. Spiders, frogs, geckos. Like, it's not going to just be what you think it is because it's Bomb Project. We all know Bomb Project has bomb ball pythons. But no, man, a lot of different diversity going to be vending at the show. So that being said, set your reminder, man. It's going to be amazing. Head over there. All right, there's the address. The website is in the description below, so make sure you click on it. And also follow them on Instagram as well. All right. Again, shout out to D, shout out to KG. But this is going to be great. And yeah, cannot wait to see what this is all about. And I'll see you there because I'll be there, best believe it, December 9th with a group of homies. So, all right, man. Listen, also I want to say that tonight's episode is brought to you by my good man, Gary Schiaffino. You know, I was talking about, you know, other species of reptiles and whatnot. And if any of that chondro and emerald tree boa and diamond pythons, carpets, like those different python species that you see, but maybe not known enough about, then you need to head over to GS Reptiles on YouTube. Follow this guy's content, and you will learn a lot very quickly, but in a fun way. Gary's my man. He's hilarious. Definitely one of the best guys I've met in this industry, hands down. And I've met a lot of great people in this industry, but this is a guy you want to follow, especially if you want to learn more. All right. Especially if you're a one species guy and girl, and you're just like, well, I would like to dabble into some other stuff, but I want accurate information. Well, this is your guy. This is a guy who will give you accurate information that would encourage you to get another species of reptiles. All right. Not into hybrids. I'll tell you that right now. Gary Schiaffino, you're my dog. Thank you so much. Please, GS Reptiles on YouTube. Subscribe. Oh, he's almost at 10K. So let's get him at 10K. And then also Instagram, GS Reptiles on IG. And I appreciate everything you do, Gary. You're the man, dog. Last but not least, Focus Cube Habitats. Thank you so much for the amazing display behind me. Damn. I'm trying to count. I got 16, I think. No, 14. Got 14 beautiful Focus Cube Habitats stacked behind me. And guess what? 2 more are on the way. It's going to complete this whole wall. It's going to be amazing. Stephen Ashley, Flex in Texas, all day, every day. I appreciate everything you do. Hardworking crew of 2. And they are just the dynamic duo. They don't stop. So I appreciate your love and your long ongoing support for the trap. I mean, they've been supporting me for over 3 years now, and it just means a lot to have those 2 hardworking people support what I do. I support them. So you should also consider getting yourself some beautiful Focus Cube Habitats. Go over to their website, focuscubehabitats.com, or go over to their Instagram. They show a lot of great demonstrations of what their enclosures can do. And they have a bunch. I mean, they're what they are going to just now be releasing is next level shit. Way more next level than what's behind me. This is your typical outline, just easy way to keep something that you love that's arboreal, but you don't have to just go basic like this. Not to kind of hate on myself. Sounds like I'm kind of bashing myself, but either way, they have levels to this shit, right? And I know a lot of people like to step your shit up. So Focus Cube Habitats, go. If you're like, hey, I want to be bougie with my arboreal snake, go to Focus Cube Habitats. Thank me later. Let them know MJ sent you. And shout out to the sponsor, Focus Cube Habitat. Shout out to all my sponsors, man. I love all my sponsors so much. And yes, early birds, comments are jumping. I know what's good. If you're in the comments tonight, guys, if you think tonight's episode, if you think Brock's on fire, if you think I'm on fire, if you think the episode's on fire, throw a super chat. Don't be shy with the super chats tonight. Hit your boy with some good super chats. especially if you have a good topic or a question or whatever, man. You need to get something addressed, and you want my attention on it. Drop a super chat. Feel me? All right, who's in here? Who's ready to rock and roll? Damn, there's a shit ton of people. Got a new YouTube member. That's what I'm talking about. James Oakes. What's up, James Oakes? Appreciate you. R 5.0. Listen, I don't know if there's going to be some Team Sunset or Team whatever in the live chats today, but if there was, this fool's Team Sunset for sure. Heavy hitting guy right here, up and coming. Go follow him on Instagram. Vibe with Ro. All right. It's my dog. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Appreciate you. Looking forward to your future, Ro. My homie, Tony B. Next Level Morphs. I was talking about new Breeder on the Block series. This guy right here was just my last Monday night new Breeder on the Block series. So after Brock's episode, check this guy's episode. Not to be slept on, Tony B. Next Level Morphs. Dude, shout out to this guy. Amazing. Trap Talk Patreon member too. Jeff Byers in the building. What's up, Jeff? I met this guy at Tinley. He crashed one of my Tinley episodes with Dave Levison. I miss you, Dave. Love you, buddy. Big Mike, 1776 Exotics. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Miller's Menagerie in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Justin Campbell in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Heathen Hatchery. Trap Talk Patreon member, the elite. One of the elites. My dog, 217 Pythons in the building. My homie right there. Trap Talk Patreon member. Piyush Patel in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member. Man, Freddie. Trap Talk Patreon member. The homie in the building. Morph Valley Reptiles. What's good? Bay Area Ballers. Another Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Got the homegirl Krista in the building. What's up, Krista? Go follow her on Instagram. Neurophi Exotics. Big Brock in the building. What's up, Brock? Ooh, man. Looking forward to what Brock has to say in tonight's show. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Don't sleep on his ultra male and don't sleep on his pastel. I'm just Big E, Top G, Villarino. My dog. Go follow him, please. B Unit Mob Boss, my dog, all day, every day. Trap Talk Patreon member too. Bradley Pruss, fuck, man. Hit me up. Let me know how I say that. I'm sorry. But, dude, appreciate you being a Patreon member. And I promise you by the next episode, I'll pronounce your last name right. Ricky Bobby SRT, my dog, the elite of Trap. What's up, dog? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Above all scales, follow him on Instagram. It's my dog. And he's a Chondro keeper. Be ready. Making noise. Shellback Exotics, one of my newer Trap Talk Patreon members. Glad to have you part of this. Thank you so much for tapping in. It's going to be a great show tonight. Travis Gordon in the building. TNS Reptiles. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. JD, the young player. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Appreciate this guy so much. The future. All City Serpents. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. And you know what? I'm going to end it with this guy just because I want one of his shirts. You know what's good, Eric? Ship that. Eric's More Factory, V Unit family. Let's go. Listen, I have Brock on the other line. It is about that time. All right? So do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated. It is episode 400 and what? I don't even know. Fuck. 412. Holy shit. 412. Brock Wagner Reptiles. Let's go. You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
And it's his third time around the Trap Son. Here he is, Brock Wagner.
What's up, MJ?
What's up? How are you? Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Okay, cool. I heard a little like echo, but it went away really quick. So we're good. We're all good. What's up, Brock?
How are you doing, buddy? I got my computer on, but I got it muted, so you shouldn't be able to hear it.
Okay, cool. Dangerous move of you, but all right. Good. I'm not gonna tell Brock Wagner what to do. Do your thing, buddy. But happy to have you back here.
I just looked it up. Did you know that we did this 2 years ago? So it was 2021 is when we did our first episode. Can you believe that?
Right. And then I had you on another time after that.
You did. I think you had me on a year ago. I think I was on about a year ago, if I remember correctly.
Right. And so everything kind of always seems to come, across as it should. I always feel like a lot happens in a year, especially where you're at, where, you've been in this for quite a while. I mean, what number of year are you in breeding ball pythons?
20 years now. So I started in 2003 is when I flew out to California and bought my first ball python for $15,000. So it was 2003 because I had to get a second mortgage on my first house and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you've never stopped spending that type of money. If anything, it increased, right? Like it only gone up a shit ton.
Yeah, that's one thing that I never understand about in this industry. If you want to stay on top, or if you really want to, keep producing animals and making good money doing this, you've got to spend money. And if you form yourself either a sole proprietor, an LLC, or a corporation, as I am now, you can deduct all of the snakes that you purchase. So I don't know why some people don't get into that or don't do that. A lot of people, if they do make profit, like the last 3 years have been fucking hella good, as we both know. People should definitely be reinvesting. Like this year, 2023, I've invested a ton of money back into this industry.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did you know? Okay, let me slow down. So because I feel like by you spending money as much as you did years back, you already had that planned. Like if you had made that money back, you always wanted to continue to put it back into the business, right?
100%, because I didn't want to stop. Like, I really enjoyed what I was doing. I enjoyed being in the game. I enjoyed trying to be at the top of the game. And so for me, man, it was like, I've been a hustler. I'm not going to stop. I've always thrown that money back into it, tried to follow hot trends, tried to do what I needed to do to stay, to stay on top. So it was hard, but I'm not going to give up. Like even today, after doing it 20 years, I can still tell you, I still enjoy it. Cause obviously, you can ask my family, I put enough energy and time into this every week. This is all I know for the last 20 years is to do this,
Do you think what got you ahead of whatever curve that you are ahead right now? When I say compared to most, you are. So I'm just saying, do you feel like because of that is because how much you invested right off the beginning? Like you didn't fuck around and that's the result of this?
Yeah, I think I got some really lucky breaks, obviously. But most people don't realize that I was using borrowed money to get into this. And within the first year, MJ, I had like $75,000, $80,000 of money wrapped up into my ball python, business. And for me, it was so addictive. And I got in at the right time. I was getting in, the boom started in the late 90s and I got in the early 2000s. And so I did get in at the right time to see, animals were changing $20,000, $30,000 all the time. It was great.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you feel like you had some sort of, who taught you about morphs back then? That's what I want to know. Like, where were you getting your ideas with morphs? Was it like on the shows?
Well, so we didn't have YouTube like we have it today. And on top of all that, MJ, we didn't really have, I'm in Nebraska. There's really no one else doing this, especially when I started in 2003. There was nobody doing this, even in the region around me. So that's how I formed friendships in Michigan, Florida, California, was because those individuals were doing it and they were teaching me. I had to learn a lot through trial and error, but a lot of stuff that we did back then, Bud, was on forums. And so forums was basically our form of social media. And we were constantly communicating and showing off what we were doing on forums at that time.
And as far as knowing what to invest in, is it just kind of taking people's words back then and just thinking what was the hot gene, or were you playing the import game back then?
I didn't start playing the import game until I think 2007, 2008. So, because I didn't have the money to do that, or I didn't have the connects. And so what I was doing, Bud, I was studying on the internet. Everyone had websites and stuff like that. I was clearly addicted, and I'm a snake nerd. So, I mean, I was trying to like stay on top and focus on what I personally thought was hot, what my friends said were hot, that kind of stuff. And that's where I really focused. And there was, that's back when we were actually getting cool shit out of fucking Africa. And so I'll never forget like the champagne. I think I bought that in '07. Yeah, it was 2007. That was when I finally started getting connects over there in Africa and being able to do business with them and get animals shipped to me. So
That must have been fucking cool.
oh, dude, here's a fun one for you. When I really wanted Barcheck showed up at '06 at Daytona, and he had one or two champagnes. I saw that snake, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta have that." It was amazing. I was blown away by the colors. I was blown away by everything about it. I was like, this. I was just nerded out over it. And anyway, so I tried to get my hands on it, and clearly they were unavailable. They were only over in Africa. Well, I got the phone call. Excuse me, it was 2007. We built our house in '06, our last house, and I was knee deep in debt. And I'll never forget, they told me that I could get a pair of champagnes, and I had to come up with $30,000 or $35,000, and I had fucking 24 hours to do it. And I was like, holy fuck! But I did it. And that's how I got. And then because I came up with 35,000, clearly the guy paid 30,000 for him over there in Africa. He juiced me for 5,000, made a $5,000 profit off of me. And so when they came in, he's like, "Hey, dude, I got two males here instead of a pair." And he goes, "Do you want those?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And they were Heifer Ghosts, and I got both males to breed for me that season. So it was awesome.
So you eventually made champagne hypos.
Oh, the next year we were the first ones to do it. My wife actually named them Mimosas. She was the one that came up with that name.
Wow, no way.
Yeah.
I love stories like this. See, this is why,
Yeah, and here's a perfect example when people diss on our, the ball python game, and I know that there's tons of other awesome reptile species out there, but I turned that $30,000 or $35,000 investment, MJ. That was a $300,000 gig for me in 2008 just on champagnes.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I took that money and bought bananas because I knew I wanted, and I used a lot of dollars to get into the bananas because I really knew I wanted banana.
So the mimosa champagne, I'm sorry, the mimosa, which is a champagne hypo, that was the one to kind of give you that foundation to kind of just start going ham off of, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I mean it was great. It was me getting the mimosa because I think I was selling mimosas at the time for 15 or 20,000.
Okay, so hold on. Let's go back to the story how you got that 35,000. What'd you do to get that 35,000?
Damn. I started making phone calls, and I called all the wholesalers. I called everybody that was a potential customer, and I just started selling snakes out of my collection. I did everything I needed to do to get that money. I did everything. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, so you produced how many mimosas the first year?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't even remember. I think we maybe produced like 4 or 5, if I remember correctly, maybe 6.
And you let go how many, or did you keep them all?
No, I kept a pair for myself, and I sold 4 or 5. And like I said, I think I got 15 or 20,000 bucks a piece for them back then. So,
oof. So that
people were lining up to sell them or buy them. Excuse me. So it was great.
And it was enough to kind of hurry up and get you to a level, an even playing level from what you invested to begin with that pair, which was crazy how that could happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And see, prior to that, I was really heavily producing lessers and butters and stuff, but they really, so in 2015, or 2005, excuse me, a lesser platinum was running you 15 to 17,000 all day long. Okay. And then there was this company out there. I can't remember the name of them. The guy's name was Joe Capone. Anyway, they had.
Is that a real name?
It was his real name, dude. It was him, and he had a partner named Wes. And anyway, the next year in 2006, man, they had slammed the price. So I think lesser platinums were 2,500, Mojaves were 1,500. Yeah, that was 2000. I think it was 06 when that happened. And so by the time 2007 rolled around, dude, they were way less than that. So I knew I needed to keep elevating my game if I wanted to keep staying in the business and stuff.
Well, speaking of game and being in the business, let's help some people out there, bro. Because there's some people ready to jump off the cliff. You know what I mean? And
You're right.
and there's some people who just have their feet in this game less than 5 years and are making really cool double recessive combos, even some triple shit, right? But
Oh,
instead of kind of worrying about sitting on it and not selling it, some of them need to sell it, and they're in a place where they can't, even no matter how low the price is and how low how much they embarrass themselves over it. They still can't sell the snake. So what's a good way to maneuver when you have good productions in a time like 2023 going into 2024?
yeah, you bet. So I've been, asked that question a lot, especially since, I'm just coming off my show season where I've just done like 4 major reptile shows in the last 3 months. And I'm telling everybody, I've been through this for 20 years. I've seen the ebbs and flows. I mean, I was through 08, 09, all that bull crap and that. And 2015 was pretty crappy. I can tell you that right now, if you want to do this and you want to seriously do this as a business or a side hobby, and you don't want to give up, now's not the time to sell your stuff, especially for dirt cheap, because that's all people give you is pennies on the dollar for a lot of it. My recommendation for them is to just seriously hold on to your best stuff. Don't get rid of it. And just, maybe in 2024, don't breed for as many clutches. But I do believe by 2025, 2026, that our ball python industry is going to be going back on the upward trend. That will be doing good.
Now, I'm sure people at this seasoned into the game kind of saw this dip coming, right? Like you were, because of COVID, right? COVID kind of made things not realistic. COVID made everything where the year, even like my first couple of years was COVID selling ball pythons, and it was fun. It was like, holy shit, like never used Morph Market. Everything was off Instagram. And like, I'm talking paid right there. And like, I don't even think I got much payments back then. It was great.
For someone like me who's been doing this for so long, man, 2020 was like a real like eye opener. It was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then 2021, 2022, dude, we smoking killed it. I mean, I built a new house. I got a snake building now. It was all from what just happened in the last 3 years. I made so much money doing it. There was so much money flying around. You had your, the COVID, money that was coming in for all those people. People were stuck at home for 6 to 8 months and playing on their phones, checking out animals, checking out Morph Market, all that.
Quitting their jobs.
Quitting their jobs. Although I would not recommend that, but people can do whatever they want to do. It was a really extraordinary time. We're going to look back on what just happened. We're going to look back, in 5, 6 years, and we're going to go, holy shit, like that was amazing. Just like you said, stuff was selling so easily and so fast that it really made everybody up their production. And we're doing a really good job with social media, getting people involved in our trade and involved in our hobby. But like right now, I think it's time to just maybe pump the brakes a little bit. Don't produce quite as many. Produce really quality stuff that you don't mind keeping. That's the number one thing. Like, we are our own best customers. So you should be breeding for what you would like to keep in your collection to grow your collection. So that's another good one that people should do right now.
What I don't understand, and I hope people will listen out there if they're listening, that, if you do a lot of heavy picture updating and whatnot on Morph Market, and you have like an Instagram link and you go to your Instagram and there's not really current on your Instagram, like there's not much current, like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. And what I mean by that is, if you're not posting your most fucking fire shit that you are looking to sell, but you're not showing it like not for sale, you're more likely going to be selling something that doesn't seem like it's for sale right now. That's how things are working. Like,
social media, like you and me, MJ, we've had this talk many times, like between Facebook and Instagram. And I agree with you 1,000% that Instagram's the place to be. I still play on Facebook. I still have my Brock Wagner Reptiles.
You need your Facebook. It's terrible, but it's not. I don't want to say it's terrible, but it's like, it's important because there's just people out there who are just more like they have a lot of deep connections in Facebook because that's where it all started for them, and then Instagram came,
Yeah. So for me, like I've been doing this for so long, MJ, that I've got customers that will only, and friends in this hobby that will only communicate on Facebook because, and I'm older too. I mean, shit, I'm 47. So they'll only communicate with me. They will not go over to Instagram at all. And I'm like, you guys should really get on Instagram. It's really where to be. But hey, us old bastards, they like to play on Facebook. So
No, I even have to tell some of my own Patreon members or my own friends or colleagues, like, hey, listen, like, it is worth having Facebook, because you never know what you'll see on Facebook before you'll see on Instagram. Like, you'll see people sometimes dropping fucking, newsflash shit on Facebook before Instagram. And it's just those people who happen to be Facebook more friendly over Instagram. So I feel like if you're really trying to get as much information as possible when it comes to snakes and all that, you kind of have to have both. You don't have a choice, unfortunately. But
what I've been doing for my Facebook, my faithful Facebook followers, I've been dropping shit on there earlier than I do Instagram. So like the Sunset Puzzle was live on my it was on my Facebook page for at least an hour, if I remember correctly, before I had it on Instagram. So
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you already said that one of the magic words tonight, sunset, man. Hey, by the way, was your story, that wasn't directed towards me, right? Because I was getting sent your story, and when you said, I know some people don't like that out there, but I don't care. That wasn't directed towards me, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. I told you, I think when you and me talked yesterday, I told you I was at the St. Louis show this weekend, and people were coming up and showing me on their phones, like, Brock, this guy right here, he says you just found the perfect way to ruin a puzzle. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. He can think whatever that individual wants to think. I don't care. I'm still here. I'm still doing my thing. I'm not going to go away, and we still do really well. So, and it's we're trying to put a different spin on things, and people that don't like the sunset, hey, I used to try to defend it all the time. I don't need to. The gene defends itself. So, don't need to.
I mean, like I said, I only give it shit only because the whole, like, how Sunset was introduced to me was such a crazy, like, I heard a story, I heard something about it got stolen from Barchek, and then I looked into it and someone hit something and it was like 50K. And so I always felt like Sunset carried quite a bit of, like, wow, there's quite a bit of fucking nuttiness behind this gene, which, trust me, as babies, man, you can't go wrong. That thing is fucking gorgeous. Like, even as a simple sunset, some of the stuff I've seen you produce, Brock, fire shit. You know what I mean? But then, like I said, we're in a world today where ball pythons want to look better with age, don't want it to look worse, right?
Yeah,
and what sunset is, and I'm starting to, I'm a little slow when it comes to thinking like this. I'm not gonna lie, and this is whatever, but sunset isn't really meant to be the single gene that is the keeper, I guess, right? That's more like a clown, where it's a foundational type of that you have to build off of. It's concrete.
It's a good
concrete's not pretty. Concrete's not pretty until you have a house on it, right?
Exactly. So it's a great stepping stone. And here's a perfect example for you. Clowns. What's an adult clown female or adult clown look like, MJ? Just a straight up fucking clown. Doesn't it kind of look like it dulls out and browns out, buddy? Am I wrong?
It's a complete different snake as a baby.
Yes. Yeah. And so when they get as adults, a lot of them don't look so good. But I'm going to tell you, there's some clown combos clearly as babies that blow my freaking socks right off. I love them. And we're constantly, except for DG clowns, those the white lace clowns, those things look amazing as adults. There's a lot of combos that look amazing in clowns still as adults. But you're correct. I mean, the sunset as a baby, I still love them, because it's pattern and color mutation. We've been line breeding them, so they're getting better as they get older. The first example, some of the first pictures, they were terrible. They were horrid. I'll agree with you on that. And we're constantly trying to refine it and make it a better snake and make it a better looking snake as it ages.
I quote about, like, the people really booing, and not that I'm booing, I'm just giving my opinion. My opinion's cheap, right? Don't mean shit because I'm not in the game. That's why it doesn't really matter. Like, this is just me speaking, but I've had this conversation with Justin, and I'm sure he's listening to me like, okay, yeah, keep talking, MJ. Same with Miguel, same with you. And I know it's just a matter of time where I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna applaud Sunset. I'm not saying Sunset needs to be deleted. I'm not nothing remotely close to that. I'm just saying, like, holy shit, like, show me something, God damn it. That's all I'm saying at this point. That's
and I appreciate that. And when guys like you, when you say that, you actually try to you're motivating us, and you're trying to make us be better, which is great. And some of the names, like, I know Justin didn't work with Sunset until I think 2021, 2020 or whatever. when he bought some from us. And so, yeah, it took him forever to actually get into the Sunset Project. So I don't think he was too jazzed about it at first. So, it's great to have him in it.
When did it hit your collection? Like, when did Sunset first come into your collection?
Me and Brett Boa, we bought our mail, and we honestly paid bar and bar check $65,000 to get into it. We bought the first mail he made available. I think it was 2013 or 2014. No, it was 2013. It was the first mail that he hatched that he was making available. And Brad went over there and bought it from his house there in Michigan, and we paid, because I wrote Brian the check, and it was $65,000.
Fuck. And that was one mail. And who took the mail? You or Brad?
Brad. No, Brad took it. I paid for it, and Brad took it. So yeah.
And I'm curious, snake like that. What an investment. That thing went to a bunch of like clowns, or would you guys put that thing to? Like,
we really, honestly, MJ, for the first 2 years, dude, we really didn't do that much stellar stuff with it. I mean, I know I sent Brad a clown, and we bred it to a clown. That was our foundation for the Sunset Clown.
How long until you made your first visual sunset? How long?
Oh, good question. It was 16. I think it was 16 when we made our first visual.
How many did you make?
Not very many, buddy. 3 or 4. Okay,
it's still 3 or 4. But did it take a lot to get that 3 or 4? Or was that one clutch 3 or 4?
No, I think that was 2 clutches, if I remember correctly. And yeah, because we had to make hets. Brad does a phenomenal job of growing up the hets. And if I remember correctly, I'm not sure if we bought some. We might have bought like 2 female hets from Brian. I'd have to go look at my records. I keep records of all that stuff. I'd have to go look. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm just like, because a lot of people, God bless them, they come into this. Even right now, there's still people. I mean, I don't want to say 65K, but there's people dropping some money still on snakes. So snakes are still being sold right now. I don't want anyone to be confused at all, because there's people out there who are spending big money, but I even see people who are just coming into this doing it still. But like, you think a lot of them know how to use an investment snake? Like, because I'm sure there has to be a tactic behind this. Like, there's a lot of learning curves, I'm assuming, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so we're going to touch on that. And I love what you just said there. Yeah, people are still spending money in the hobby. Like, the hobby's not dead. I just sold one snake for $15,000 last week. There's still money getting thrown around in this hobby. You hear me? This hobby is not dead. Like, that's MJ. I apologize. People like, oh, Brock, I'm going to sell my collection, or hey, I can't get over how many people, and I'm just going to publicly say this, don't contact me to buy your snake collection when you never bought a snake from me. I can't tell you, MJ. I just start laughing at them, and they beg me. They beg me to buy their snakes. And I'm like, dude, you've never bought a snake from me.
So they want, hold on. So they want you to buy snakes that they bought from other people.
Oh yeah. If I had $100 for every time someone bought a snake from another breeder, especially a big name breeder, we won't name one, that they now want me to buy, I would, I'd have a damn good amount of money right there. I just laugh at them. I'm like, did you ever buy from me? No. Why are you trying to sell me something? I literally tell people, like, I do business with people who do business with me, and I'm very loyal and very, very loyal to those people because they support me. I'm going to support them. So, yeah. Sorry.
You feel sorry for people like that?
I'm sorry, what?
You feel sorry for people like that?
I don't feel sorry for them. It's just, it makes me laugh sometimes, their sales spill and sending me stuff just rando out of nowhere and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, no, we're not doing business. I'm sorry. Like, come on. Yeah. So, but the business is not dead, brother. The business is not dead. And then we're going to go into the caveat where you're saying, I think that there's some very smart people in this hobby that have invested, anywhere upwards to 60 to 80, 90,000, and they got really great ingredients, and they're coming out with banger snakes of all kinds of different, morphs that you never saw coming because they dropped $60,000, $80,000 and they got the right stuff, and they came out of nowhere. I'm like, who the hell is that person? They got some killer shit. I see that all the time now.
Now also too, and this is no disrespect to anyone who's just making noise in the game in the recent years, but I also think it's important, if you want to work a certain project, look at who's doing the best by that project as far as acquiring animals from. Call me. I mean, I just don't think like, okay, if you see it at a table, you should just fucking buy it and say fuck it. Like, I always feel like it's important to kind of have some sort of like paper trail from just from the breeder himself, like just because who it came from. And I'm sure like you've gotten a lot of customers based off you just being in the game for so long, and they know, okay, this is like what Brock has. Like for instance, any sunset shit, people would want to come for you for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been really fortunate because I've been doing it for 20 years, MJ. And yeah, I've had a lot of experiences, and I've had for every bad story, I have a flip story to it, as well. And I have always taken care of my customers, and I've always made sure that anybody drops any big amount of money with me, they're taken care of. And that reputation has really, really helped me, because I constantly am still getting sales, because if there is ever a problem, I take care of it. I see other breeders that, $5,000-8,000 snakes, and they literally are telling people to F off and F you. I don't need to take care of that. And I've seen that in the last 3 years. I'm like, dude, you can't be in business doing that. You can't. You have to take care of that person. You got to replace snakes. You got to fucking give them, more animals, do whatever. You have to do that,
Do you feel like it's the lack of effort is why a lot of these people have to sell their collections, because they are just relying on minimal fucking advertising, such as Morph Market? Like I was saying, you're going to do all this effort, which is good to have a nice picture and all that on your Morph Market, right? But that's it. You're going to literally just hope to sell your snake on Morph Market. Like, it takes a lot more than that.
Yeah, MJ, it won't work if you're, I'm branded, so I'm happy I don't have to have a YouTube channel. I mean, I don't. Everybody knows who I am. Everybody can watch our interviews. Everybody can talk to somebody. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years. My fingers have been, everywhere. I know people. But if you're new and you're starting out in this, you definitely got to work the social media game hard. I mean, I still work the Instagram really hard, and you got to really, interface with other breeders, other people. Let them know who you are. Get to know them. Show them who you are. If you're just going to sit at home, play with your snakes, breed a couple of them, and do a Morph Market account, you're going to fail. You have to be integrated into our hobby, into our culture, as I would say,
Yeah, and you would say a lot of that is kind of showing your face at shows or making efforts to fucking see people face to face, because social media relationships can only go so far. Like, I get that's a great start, but let's be real, man. Like, when you real lifetime relationship type shit that can really set you for success happens when you meet the person. You know what I mean? I feel like
1000%. Somebody, I can say this. Some people, won't name names, they give great phone. You hear me? And when I say that, it's like, do you know what great phone is, MJ?
No, what's that?
Great phone is like, we all know great, BJs. But anyway, there's some people in this hobby. They give great phone. Let me tell you.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Dude, I've known this for years. There's people out there, MJ, that give you such great phone that by the end you're like, oh, baby, you're loving it,
Bro.
Yeah. But when you meet them in person, they are not that person. They are not that person at all.
You've given me some good phone before, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I have given you good phone.
But we back it up in person, though. We actually see in person. It's not bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You come see me in person. I'm the same guy I was on that phone. Yeah. So, but there's some MFers out there. They give damn good phone. Let me tell you. Okay?
I'm gonna remember that forever. I'm gonna be like, bro, listen, I understand you've been giving me good phone for about 5 years now, but you've never bought a snake from me.
Oh, dude, I'll never forget. I was just getting into this hobby. I was meeting this guy, and you would have thought on the phone, man, the way he gave such good phone. I thought he was 7 foot tall, MJ. I thought he looked like, just the best. You thought this guy was Thor. You thought this guy, it was amazing. I meet him in person. And oh my God, I can't say too much more, but let's just say I met him first, like, oh my God, that's you. Like, oh Jesus, like, yeah. You're totally full of shit. Everything about you is full of shit.
No, but you know what? You're so right, because I've gotten good phone, and I get a lot more people are probably like, they rather give good phone over the phone versus like the in-person shit, because in person, I'm like, dude, you're acting weird. Like, it just, I don't know. I can get two different types of energy sometimes. Either way, whatever, man. God bless people out there. All I know is like, you need people, though. You're not going to do this by yourself. All I'm saying is, if you're spending big money and you're wanting to get respect on the projects that you're working with, you need people. I don't give a fuck what you say.
100%. And being part of the community, US Art, great, all that stuff. I support them, all the shows, give them good snakes. I was happy they made like $900 off the snakes I gave them in St. Louis. Good, you got to be involved. You got to be involved.
Brock, let's poke a fire right now, because I'm noticing something. Oh, thank God, Darian Shout out to Darian over at Morph Market. Wait, hold on. What do you think of Darian? You a Darian guy or no?
Well,
Some people aren't. I'm just curious what you are.
You bet. So I met Darian and talked to him quite a bit in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I told him I'm indifferent, and I think I'm going to stand with that. I'm indifferent.
It's Sweden. You're just like, hey, you know,
I'm Sweden.
Do your thing. I'm going to sell and just do your thing. I guess
He's way younger than me, from what I can tell. He's personable. He is very personable.
Right.
Darian is not John. I can tell you.
Wow, are you kidding me, dude? It's like if John had a little brother who's just fucking just like here to
opposite.
Just, yeah, bro. But what I was gonna say is I like the presentation of Morph Market. I love all these updates and cool shit. And I guess do your thing with the sales. It's cool. It's making it more exciting. But one of the things that I can't help but to pay attention to is US ARC supporters and people who don't support US ARC. And maybe times are tough. And I hate to judge anyone who doesn't support US ARC. But like, you know, we all know Cusco has done his YouTube rants about big breeders not supporting US ARC. And I don't understand that. That's one thing that doesn't really make sense.
So I'll tell you, because I've been doing this a long time, okay? And their US ARC is a great organization, and it's run very clean, you know, all that. But I can tell you that, you know, 10, 12 years ago, there was another individual involved that all of us knew. And maybe
I forget his name. I know I've talked about this before too, so it's not a secret.
To be honest with you, I forgot his name. But I had a lot of personal interactions with him, MJ. And let's just say that, you know, our ethics were not aligned. How about that?
It didn't make sense, you know.
So that's all I can say. So,
and because of that, I kind of left like a bad taste in people.
Yeah, I think it did. I really think it did. But again, what they're doing now, it seems really amazing, and they're, you know, it's a really clean show or clean organization, all that. So kudos to them and what they're doing, and I support them. So yeah.
All right. How about anyone who's been within let's say anyone who came in within COVID and doesn't support US ARC? That's not an excuse. That's right.
Well, I mean, some people, I don't know, some people might not understand what US ARC does for us. You know, there's a lot of different things you could say about, you know, why maybe someone doesn't support US ARC. I don't know, you know.
Well, that's being fair. Like literally, I guess.
But
I wanted you to rip the shit out of somebody, but never mind.
We've kind of talked about this, MJ. Brock's not going to do that shit anymore. I got out of that business, so that's not my business anymore.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, let's get back to business here with the sunset, because you know we're just getting things warmed up as far as that, and I want to show what broke the internet not too long ago. The beautiful sunset puzzle. Let's talk about when you walked in and saw this thing. How'd it go down? Did you cut the egg and see it, or did it pip?
So let me tell you the story, bud. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I finally started playing with puzzle. Okay. And I'd always kind of like, you know, I sort of liked it from afar, and some things happened, and I finally started playing with it. And I was like, you know, what can I do that's going to be something cool that no one else is really doing, blah, blah. So I made my double heads. Okay. And I got really crappy odds. I think only got like one female. Then I held on to her, blah, blah, blah. So when it came to this snake, I finally got fortunate, because I know like Miguel's working on it. I know Anton's working on it. There's several other people that clearly are working on it. I got lucky. I got the clutch with 6 eggs, and I still work. I work 6:30 to 6:30 on my days at work. And I go in my, snake building, check my incubator, and it's like, I don't know, 5:30 in the morning, 5:25 in the morning. And I look in there, and that snake is literally mostly out of the egg looking at me, and it's freaking glowing. I was like, holy shit, this is a great looking sunset. I was like, man, this snake is glowing right out of the egg. And I get him cleaned up, get him in the, into the hatchling rack, excuse me. And the rest of the clutch, all 5 eggs, MJ, were all dead in the egg. There was actually another sunset puzzle. Yeah, there was another sunset puzzle dead in the egg. Yeah.
Why'd you die?
I don't know, dude. I just, what I believe, and I could be wrong, I just moved my collection in May. That female was gravid, MJ. And so I've had some weird things happening this season because, I moved from being a true basement breeder to now having my 1,500 square foot snake building.
Yeah,
So
it's a whole other ball game because I turned a 2-car garage basically into one, but I have my ceilings are a lot taller, so it's different when you put them in a something like a basement to something that's more open. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I got a huge room. It's open. Temperature, the first 2 months, but I was battling with temperature fluctuations and trying to get my temperatures all right and all that stuff. And so I was totally trying to get them.
I gotta ask you, Brock, the snake that didn't make it in the egg, did they look perfectly normal? Like, were they fine, or did some of them look like like not fully developed or whatnot?
Not fully developed, MJ.
Yeah. Okay, but this was the cream, the one that was supposed to make it anyways. That's all that matters.
This was the one that made it. So you're gonna laugh. So I go to work and I'm pissed off. I'm literally just fucking pissed off because the rest of the clutch was junk. It didn't make it. Right. And so even though I hatched this wonderful animal out and it was a boy, I was mad. I mean, I remember calling my friends and I was like, I'm fucking mad because and they were like, you just did it, bro. You just hit. And I sent the picture out to a few select, people, close customers, close friends, all that. And when I got the initial reaction, which was like they were just losing their minds about how much they love this, and they, the first pictures, how great it was, I was like, oh man, I really got something special here. And then I went to Vegas for a family trip with my dad, and I came home and I was like, I'm gonna display the snake before St. Louis show. I'm gonna do it on my birthday, which is November 6th. And I was working out my snake building, and let me tell you, dude, I had so many messages and so much stuff. I couldn't even keep track of all of it. That was crazy.
Any crazy offers?
Yes, $150,000 offer was definitely made on the yeah.
Stop it! No.
Yeah, no, it was no lie, man.
$150K.
150. Yeah, I got a standing offer of 150. I told him, I said 250. I might be able to sell it. So. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no shit. Because it's so powerful. I mean, you breed that to your puzzles. We all know that puzzle is kind of like the new clown. Okay. We've done so much with clown. Puzzle's the new clown, MJ. Didn't you know that?
This came from someone who you legitimately thinks like you'd think he has 150K. This didn't come from like
1,000%. Yeah, the customer does business with me all the time. He's got money. He can do it.
Wasn't a random morph market inquiry, right?
No. This was not a random morph market inquiry.
That makes my hair stand up. That's awesome because that just shows you. Listen, I don't give some things don't have a price on it. It's unfortunate, but you know what you could do with this snake. It's too important.
Oh, but tell me, $150,000, MJ, you start to think in your head. Trust me.
Are you kidding me, bro? For me personally, because this is my glory. Ball pythons, I'll make it again. I don't give a fuck. But hold on, how hard do you think it is for you to make this snake again? Let's get to that.
That's a good question. This upcoming season, I'll have 3 double het females, and I clearly have to use my double het male. So you watch. I'll get skunked on all 3 fucking clutches. I mean, I think I got really lucky this year.
You have 3 opportunities. You have three approaches at the plate on this.
Yeah, I've got 3 more, things up to whatever you want to call it, up to bat. So yeah, but so we'll see. I mean, I've been skunked pretty bad. I've also had great, luck this year. I've had good luck and I've had bad luck. So
what's the remind me male or female?
That's a male. Yeah, it's a boy.
Okay. So, Brock, let's throw some of your OG tips out there as far as what you're doing to get this male ready for game time. Like, what's a Brock Wagner like franchise male growing snake eating like? Like, how do you do that?
So like that, I'm feeding him twice a week. Some people I know that have some, really stellar males, they'll try to feed them. I know guys that try to feed them every day for like 3 or 4 days, and then they lay off for 2-3 days, and then they, start doing that. For me, but I do it twice a week feeding if the animal will do it. And if the animal won't do it, I don't think you should stress it out by trying to offer it food more often. That's my opinion. I think sometimes people try to really power feed them, and that kind of messes them up. So I think offering them food twice a week. If they eat, great. If they don't, at least once a week, you're good.
What do you think about keeping them in a smaller tub for the majority of the beginning stage of their life, like having them in a smaller tub helps them grow quicker too? You believe any of that?
Some people do. I've got 4 baby racks, bud, and so if a snake is not happy in one rack, I will switch them from an ARS rack to a habitat rack to now I have a freedom breeder rack and I have a sea serpents. And so I will bounce around between the 4 racks if I need to. But I also change the bedding between Aspen and you know, ReptiChip, depending on what the animal likes. But I try to honestly, I have this habitat system baby rack, MJ, that I got back in like '04, paid like $6,000 for it. It's a 5-quart little, you know, box. And I love that rack. I put them on, I start like the puzzle. He's on Aspen right now with a hide box and he's eating just great in there. So, you know, I'll switch them around if I have to.
And what are your go-to temps?
I like to keep the back at least like on a baby like that. I like to keep about 87 to 88. And so in the back.
Nice. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there's some people out there who just fucking have a way to get their snakes grow quicker.
Oh, dude, my friend Brad Boa, I don't know what he's got. He's got the secret sauce, man. You can give him a baby snake and you come back in 7-8 months. It's like 700-800 grams. You're like, how did you do that? Like, how did you do that? You know? So,
well, I mean, I think because for the most part, someone who comes in just thinks, okay, what do these snakes need or what do they typically do? And they think once a week. And so they would say, okay, everyone sticks to once a week. But really, like what Brad kind of does, attention to detail, like he's paying attention and he takes advantage of when he knows that fucking snake will eat. You know what I mean?
Oh, and you also got to remember that, you know, Brad, his attention to detail when it comes to feeding snakes is impeccable. That, you know, he'll offer, it'll eat on Monday. He's offering to get on Wednesday or, you know, Friday night. He's sitting there looking at it. He's like, come on, this guy, come on. You know, he's doing that. So, and he's getting it done where a guy like me who with my job and my other businesses, man, I don't have that attention that I can give to it that much. Now, this animal here, MJ, I'm going to give it all the attention I can give, you know, so I'm going to give it attention as much as you know, every week that I can.
Yeah, you know, since we're on the topic of feeding, you know, one of the things that came up on the most recent New Breed on the Block episodes is like one of my buddies who's just kind of making some good moves in the game. He ran into an issue where one of his investment males were like right off the bat was regurging and throwing up, and I'm like, I was like, from what I know, that's not a typical ball python thing. Like you should not have that, right? And I was curious, like, have you ever ran into that? Like,
of course. Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors, MJ, that will make them regurg. Number one, you don't have your temperatures right. Okay, your snake's temperature, your enclosure temperature. The snake is not warm enough where it's being able to digest the food. So you need to pump up your temperatures. Number two, you might be trying to feed the snake a meal that's way too big for the snake to take in and digest properly. So you need to scale back on your portion size of whatever you're feeding your snake. So that's number two. And number three, regurges can also happen when people are trying to power feed animals. I've seen that too, where they'll regurge if you're trying to shove too much food down their throat, you know? Right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's easy to not have a ball python regurge because I've not, you know, that's one thing I've not ran into with ball pythons. I thought it was goddamn near impossible to get them to regurge, but
oh no, they'll regurge.
Yeah, that's and obviously at a young age, it's not ideal either. You don't want them to go through that stomach shit when they're so small. You know what I mean? That's gonna have problems down the road. I feel like.
Oh yeah, hell no. You don't want them to regurge at all, man. So yeah, no, it's hard on the animal for sure. So I mean those factors I just told you about are the three that just come off the top of my head of why the animal would regurge for sure.
Yeah, because I try to like not, especially nowadays, because I want to be more supportive to people coming into this because not everyone gets it so quickly, but
right.
You do not have any problems if you are sticking to like the most basic things on how to keep a ball python, and if you don't fuck with it. So I do know that it's easy to figure out if you're having problems. It's super easy.
And what you just said there, a lot of people I find that are having problems, my customers, they're messing with the snake too much.
Yes.
They're taking it from one tub to another tub to another tub, and they're doing all this in the span of like 3 to 5 days or whatever the heck it is. I'm like, holy crap, man. Imagine if I grabbed you, threw you in a different house every freaking 2 or 3 days and told you you'd be happy. You're going to be, dude, you're freaking the animal out. Like there's some people that we're all neurotic, or some people are just way too neurotic, and they just need to let the snake chill out, get comfortable, don't even offer food for a week, be cool with it, then offer food, and then see how you go with, ease your way into it. There's some snakes that just need that time, and some people are just way too neurotic and just go crazy, and they're handling it all the time. They're doing all this. Well, the animal's freaked out, man. It's not going to thrive if you don't leave it alone, you know?
And it's crazy how that carries. Like if they do that with ball pythons, they do that with whatever new species that they get. And you know, I don't know. I always felt like after I got into ball pythons, anything else after ball pythons, I thought I was living a dream when I was getting, you know what I mean? But I also learned you got to learn by fucking up. It's how it happens.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, 1000%. Well, you have those green tree pythons, and they're beautiful. And I don't know. I went to the guy who used to own Habitat Systems. He had an entire wing of his house built. It was all chondros, okay? And he was building cages and stuff for me. He had all those, and they're beautiful. But I know that they're just a pain in the butt to get the baby started. Isn't that correct?
I mean, it is. I mean, it's kind of like there's kind of a lot of hurdles when it comes to trying to breed green tree pythons, just because they're just kind of, oh man, they're kind of fucking retarded. Like they're kind of like they do crazy, stupid shit that like you know you just never know what curveball's gonna throw at you. But yeah, you know what? It's not even getting the eggs that's the hard part. You know, it's getting it out the egg to eat and being patient enough to like sit there and understand that all of them have different little personalities, and some of them are shy, some of them will run away, and like it's a lot to deal with. So you know, I luckily I've taken my licks, bro. I know what's to come, and I'm ready for it. A lot of my issues with me was just not having a good incubator. Like it's I fucked with it too much. I don't want to go down the stories of but either way, I know I was the one that fucked up.
And you're owning it, MJ, dude. You're owning it, which is that's great. I mean,
which is great because like that's how I know I won't do it again. Because you gotta remind yourself what you did that fucked up, and it's okay to fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
No, totally. Yeah, we've all fucked things up, and we learn from our mistakes, and we move forward. That's life, and I totally support that. And that's how you are, or that's how you move forward in life. Question for you. What is up with those blue chondros that are really gorgeous looking? I know they have huge price tags. Tell me the story. What's going on with those?
Yeah, you know, that's kind of, you know, I mean, I love green tree pythons for many reasons, but I mean, I didn't know I loved hybrids, and that's kind of what these blue snakes are. They're considered hybrids because they're locality crossed green tree pythons that are different species technically, right? Technically, this is what I'm saying. I like to call them designers because that's what they're called. They're called designers, green tree pythons. But if you really talk to a geek or someone who's going to really get on your ass about it, they'll tell you they're hybrids. Ryan Young, aka. But anyways, either way, man, it's just these localities that have been bred to each other, and then it's just like ball pythons, exact same shit. But it just so happens that it turns into like just one big crazy fucking like. What is that thing that the paint goes on when artists fucking that were a bunch of paint?
Yeah, when you put your paint on your God, what do they call it?
It's literally just a bunch of paint, bro. Like it's crazy. It turns in, but you know, there's all these specific lineage. Like there's
lineages. Yeah, huge with chondros lineages. Yeah,
you know, and there's people like Garrick from the House of Blues, and there's even you know like John Irby and many other respectable chondro breeders who work with these blue lines of chondros to where if you breed them back to each other or back into something else, that's all you're going to get, more likely a blue snake. But what's crazy is a lot of these snakes they change over time too, bro. Like it's like you have something like a blue line that you know right off the bat that's going to turn blue as an adult, but you don't know what shade of blue, what kind of blue, what level of blue. It's intense. And you're right. We're talking fucking bank, bro. Like not cheap. As babies, before you can even see what blue it's going to be, you're spending at least $9K, $10K. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and the snake doesn't even color up, MJ, until I was told until like 6 or 7 or 8 months or whatever, and then you know what you're really working with. Does that sound right?
You don't even know what you're working with till about 2 years in, I would say.
Wow, that's awesome.
You have an idea, right? And in that it's called the OCC, right? Ongoing genetic color change, where basically like you see the transition, but man, around 2 to 4 years old, it could just go anywhere. It could get to a point and it stops, or it just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And you're just like, holy shit, it's fun. It's fun. Keeping them is amazing. Keeping them is really easy. It's when it comes to breeding is when overthinking comes involved, and you can't like I said, I have a lot of good friends, Brock, who are really good at breeding green tree pythons, but it doesn't matter. Your experience is what matters. You have to understand it right there firsthand. Like it's not It's not Google research that's going to help you, even though Google's research can help you. I'm just saying, like, it's a lot, bro, and it fucks with you. It fucks with you.
And I love, because I've been friends with you now for almost 3 years. I love that that's part of your reptile journey, you know, that you got into this and that that's something that you're passionate about and you're getting into. So I think that's great. And I hope you do great success with it. I really do.
Yeah. You know, Brock, you know, again, it's the people that kind of builds this fire within me. You know, Forrest Fanning, who was a known ball python hater. You know what I mean?
Yes, he was. He hated it.
He was my good friend, and he knew all my friends were ball python people. Like, he knew Miguel. He knew my closest friends were all ball python people, but it didn't matter to him. And he was still nice up to those people. But as far as talking that content information on a podcast, he wanted nothing to do with it. And I was like, well, dude, that's my fucking thing. So, but also he instilled the whole chondro love. Like, that's where all my chondro obsession came from, hours conversations with him on the phone. And then he would tell me about how he was in the ball python game and had the Skellis, like, he spent $1 million. I don't know. Crazy shit that came from that guy's mouth sometimes, bro. And I was just like, okay, he just nuts.
And Forrest didn't like our little ball python game, and he had 500 or 600 ball pythons, if I remember correctly.
Wow, but, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think at one point over there, you know, because he had quite the operation. I think Forrest had about fucking 500 at one point in time. And I was like, and I remember teasing Forrest saying, hey, for something you don't like, why do you have 400 or 500 of them? And he just smiled at me. He's like, well, because that's what the industry likes. I'm like, well, of course. I mean, they're the best snake. They're the best perfect pet snake / hobby snake. They're perfect. They're absolutely fucking perfect. So, and he really couldn't argue with that much. He just thought they were boring, is what he thought. So
yeah, you know, God bless his soul, man. I tried to get him because Miguel wanted to, because he was like, I want to talk to Forrest on the podcast. I'm like, all right, dude, like, let's go. Like, because Forrest would always say, nobody's making money in ball pythons. If they're telling you they are, they're fucking lying to you and all this shit. He was just one of those bitter people because the way it ended up for him. And right. Like I said, I love him to death. That's my buddy. And I would say this to him if he was right here in front of me. But this is a good example of some people not being so good at something that other people are good at, so they shit on it. And I'm like, yes. Why do you have to be like that? Like, come on. Like,
I will. Yeah, that's one thing that I totally agree with you. Well, I just bought. I'm into crested geckos because my daughters breed crested geckos. We love them. Okay, they're like our little dogs around the house. We love these things. Well, I just picked up a kick-ass lily white and xanthic from a friend of mine who I knew back from the snake, you know, way 10, 12, 15 years ago. You know, I've known him for a long time. And, you know, I gave him crap to his face. I'm like, dude, you did make it with ball pythons. They were so difficult, but he smoking killed it with freaking the crested geckos, like making 200,000 a year, man, just killing it with the crested gecko morphs. So it's really crazy. And I support him. And, you know, I gave him my money. So I bought my geckos from him. And I'm glad I did because he's a friend. But yeah, it blows my mind that he didn't do well with that, and he knows that. But he did really awesome with crested geckos, you know, another species.
I try not to do. I'm going to be real honest right now. Okay, I'm going to be super honest because honest is your best friend, right? Being honest is your best friend. So I try not to judge people, man, because I feel like if you are Mr. I have 1,000 ball pythons, but that's all I fucking do because that's what the people want. I don't think you really like reptiles. No, I don't really think you're a reptile guy. I'm sorry, because why wouldn't you want anything else if you could have it? But you just want to do what the people want to buy like that. I don't look at it as like, you know, even though this is a business, right? For me, I walk into this room, it's a hobby, bro. Like the reason why I would be upset, I'll be honest, the reason why I'd be upset if I was one of those sunset investors, because I would have to pull out a snake that I would not want to show people at some point. Like, I get it. It's important to me in my future and in my goals, but it's going to be a snake that's not going to be getting much love. It's a sunset. And it's big and brown, and that's what it is. But it's a stepping stone, and I get that. Like, we all have those clowns that are ugly. We get it. But I personally want to whip out a drawer and be happy with anything I fucking pull out. I don't give a fuck what it is, especially if I drop mad money on it. I don't care if it's a stepping stone. I want something that smacks. But that's why I love hypo DG shit. Like, I have my taste for that. Like, I have what I need to be happy with what I have. And I do know that there's certain things like Sunset that could take things to the next level, but just not by itself. That's all I was saying.
Oh, no, and I get, and I'm going to kind of go back on what you just said there about ball pythons, people having 1,000, you know, ball pythons, or people, you know, like myself, I got 500 in that building out there, you know, well, more than that with babies. I love all reptiles, and like I'm going to the zoo on Sunday with my family because you can ask my wife. My wife was like so not into this and we've been together for 21 years now, but she
That's
will
your
tell
wife.
you.
Hey, shout out to Gretchen, man. I want to give a salute to your wife, man. She's the
It-
real one. And hey, can we take a real quick talk about the time? It was one of my second Tinley, and you're lost. You couldn't remember where your room was, and your wife's on the speakerphone, and you're hitting elevator fucking things. And I was like, I got you, bro. And anyways, that was a
Yeah.
great Tinley moment.
that was awesome. I probably had a little too much to drink that night.
We all
So,
did.
yes.
We all did. That was a great time.
It was a fun time, man, and it was awesome. And I've had a wonderful supporting wife. But back to what I was going to say is we, guys like myself who are successful in this, it's because we love reptiles. You know what I mean? Like I love going to my friends' places, seeing all the other species, all that stuff. I mean, we only have 2 species here, but I mean, it's great. I don't have the time, MJ, to take on whole other species, monitors, all that stuff. I would not do those animals a good service because I would not provide the proper husbandry or care that I feel that they would need. Okay. Because I really, really believe that animals in our care need to have, the best utmost husbandry. They need to be clean, fed, taken care of.
But that's why
all the time.
That's why you got the cresteds, right? Because now that's a project in someone else's hands in a sense.
Well, it is, and I work with them a little bit. Like I told you, it's really crazy because we've turned them into like little dogs, and they're so.
I can't wait to get training tips from you.
Oh, dude, I got a picture. It's on my phone. We're on it. I can show you where my daughter's got Rex. He's one of our males, and he's just sitting like this on her chest, just sitting there, just looking at her. You've never seen a lizard look like that. I'm like, what the? I'm like, how did you even get that? Little because. They're handled so much and they're coddled so much that they just think they're part of the family and they're not scared of anything. So it's great.
Yeah,
So.
but it's like also like the futures is what this is all about, right?
1,000%. Old guys like me, I mean, dude, I might not be able to clean a tub in 10 years. You never know.
Man, and that's quite the picture to paint. Like imagine you not touching a tub. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. There's some guys that get employees, and I desperately do need an employee, but I've got I want to find the right person. My work ethic, I'm not trying to brag myself up here, but I'm a hardworking MFer and I don't stop. And I have a problem with wanting that out of other people. And I've had a business where I had 74 employees when I had a microbrewery. And dude, people are not you, and they are not always going to behave like you. So.
And it's hard because you can't really take that personal if you put someone in charge of your collection and it just doesn't work out. You understand you are a different beast than anything else that takes care of that collection. That's why, like, of course, they don't understand how much it really means to you. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like,
yeah.
You get it. Like, wow, this is cool. I wish I had this, but do you know what this really means to me? Like, this is my fucking life. And
yes.
And trust me, man. Like I said, I used to take it personal, and when I put someone in charge and something like a snake would get out or something, I would like in my head, like, but also like, dude, how many snakes gone out on my watch and like stuff like that. And like, it just, you understand that things happen even when you're not there, and more likely when you're not there, things will happen. And that's why I hate leaving now, Brock. I love staying home in the nest. I know everything that's happening, man. If the snake fucking takes a shit in the tub, I know what tub it is.
And you have the baby now. So I mean, your life, man. You have the baby now, which is great because for the next couple of years you're going to be a homebody anyway, raising your child and being able to be there.
I love it, bro. That's why Nebraska. I understand. Like, bro, I used to one thing right off the bat, Brock. When I became friends with you on Facebook, I'm a big fan of the guns, right? And so I love seeing you shoot. And I was like, dude, this guy has property somewhere. Like, I can only imagine. And then when you started recently doing videos of your facility being built and you were showing more stuff, I was like, this guy's living the dream. He's a beautiful family. He just does his fucking thing and in peace. And that's kind of what I do, but I'm in San Diego and there's a shit ton of things happening around me, but still, like, I'm kind of like in the inland of San Diego. I'm 20 minutes away from the beach and stuff, but I'm doing it's just fun just being here, just taking care of shit in life. It's just, I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't want to be anywhere else.
Exactly. And what you just said about being at peace, that's where, when I was younger, I won't lie, I was hell on wheels. And dude, I'm so over that. I'm very grateful and very happy for everything I have. And I've worked really hard to have a good family and to be able to provide for them and give us a good life. And that's the number one thing,
I will say, man, like, I enjoy going to all the shows. Like, there was a time, obviously I saw you. I remember I was seeing you at every show and whatnot, right? but that gets tiring, bro. Like that right there. And I don't want to say it's the people that wear me out, but sometimes it is the people that wear me out. And it's kind of just like seeing the same shit go down all the time. And, you hear a lot of people complain at shows, and it's like, fuck, man, like, well, how do you continue to vent if you just bitch all the time? But like, what are you doing personally to make it fun for you when it comes to vending? Like, any tips out there for anyone who's just maybe been striking out lately or just not having fun?
Oh, dude, there's a ton of people that have been striking out. And I've been there for it.
Dude, keep talking. I heard you. I'll be right back.
No problem. Yeah. So no, there's a ton of people have been striking out at the reptile shows, and trust me, I feel for them. And people come to me and they ask me, tips, pointers, all that stuff. And it's tough, man, to see like one of your friends, people that you really enjoy spending time with, and they do put a lot of time and energy into their collection and into their displays and into their presentation, and they go to a snake show and man, they just make enough to cover cost, and it really it does hurt and it sucks, and I feel bad for them, and then I sometimes feel guilty because sometimes people watch me make sales and it seems like it's happening very organically and all that stuff, but they also have to remember that I've been doing this for so long, and sometimes things do come very organically, very easy for me that way. So I do feel, because I do want my friends to succeed and I want them to do that. So it's hard, and I've even tried to point people over, take people over to try to get them sales. I've done so much that way, and you are right about shows, because I just got back from St. Louis, and then my wife had a surgery like we talked about earlier, yesterday. And so I've been going and going and going. I'm exhausted. But what gets me at the shows, the snake shows, is spending time with other people who are into the same stuff I am. I don't get that here in Nebraska very much. And so for me to be able to interact with other people that are putting that much time, money, and energy into the same thing I am, that's where I connect and I get off about that. That's the thing that keeps me going, is because there's other like-minded people, and I'm not weird as what people would like to say, and for us that play with snakes and have 500 of them in a building, because we're so odd compared to everybody else, so I get off by those interpersonal relationships that I have.
And relationships are everything. And I know I love my Patreon members, and I love people who like, want to come to me and ask me for advice and whatnot. And I just know that there's been people trying to get into Tinley's and get into the big shows. And I'm like, I don't think you're ready for a show like that, because if you get into a show like that, you're probably going to have high expectations. You're probably going to think you're going to be fucking rich or something. And that's not the case. Like,
and MJ, those people that you just talk about, there's so many like, oh, I got to be in Tinley. I got to go vend Tinley, because Tinley's, that's the granddaddy of all the, shows, especially if you do ball pythons. But here's the thing, man, you don't want to do that show, especially if you're just been doing this for 1 or 2 years. You want to do the smaller shows, get your name out there. You'll have more success at a smaller show, because when you walk into that Tinley Park show, especially the fall show, there is so much competition there that you're going to get slaughtered. We all have pretty much the same stuff on every table. You are not going to differentiate yourself away from people who are already established, already have cool shit. Dude, it's a battle just for myself, and it's insane. You really got to do something to stand out, to be different. You got Bob Boo, good, close, personal friend of mine. He comes there, he's got 8 displays or 8 tables or whatever it is, 6 tables full of cool shit. And you get everything from a ghost, lavender albino to confusion, whatever. He's got it all. So how do you compete with that, right?
Yeah. But Bob, he builds the anticipation for every show to where he has probably pre-sales already locked and loaded. Like, he has something where there's always somebody at Bob's table for the most part. You always see traffic at his tables. There was always something going on, because first and foremost, Bob's a personal guy. If you know him, he'll talk to you, and he'll talk to you till the fucking deal's closed. Like, he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean?
On Sunday, so I hung out with Bob for most of this, a lot of these at the show this last St. Louis. Bob was actually the highlight of my show. Always spending time with Bob, but you know, Bob's, I told him right to his face, I'm like, dude, you just make everybody feel right here, baby. When we're talking to you, he makes you feel right here. He has that interpersonal connection with you that he just makes your heart warm up. I don't know what it is. He's got a real gift.
Like he's cool, but he's not afraid to fucking say something to hurt, like to like, because someone's here. Like, he don't care. Like, if it's a fucking duck flying, it's a duck flying with Bob. You know what I mean? Like, he says it how it is, and I love that because.
And I think I like that too.
Yeah,
I think I like that too.
What made me so ballsy with the shit that I do to this day is because I see how many fake people are out there, and I'm like, why be that way? Like what's that gonna do for you? And it all catches up because people talk. People always, like, whenever you think you're safe talking to someone, that other person's telling that other person immediately, and you're not safe. I don't care who you think you're talking to; they're talking right after that, and. So it's like, it always makes you look bad. So it's like, just be yourself, dude. Just fucking, if you don't like someone, let it be known and keep it moving. Fucking don't be fake about it, you know, because, you know, one of the brutal things about, you know, your history of being in this, and I'm not saying you directly, but I know you witnessed it, and we're kind of going through it now. Price slashing, right? Like right now we're going through a time because money can't be spent as it was a couple years ago. But let's talk about like projects being attacked purposely to like get someone to be fucked in a sense. Like, wasn't that kind of shit happening back then?
Of course. And I mean, I've seen so much, and right now, I mean, dude, I have to check a certain business's morph market every week because they slash prices every fucking week. And I won't say their name, but I was like, because they have some of the same stuff that I got. I'm like, oh, geez, okay, I guess I got to go down a little bit more. You know, I mean, we're going to have that. Here's the thing, don't take it personal, because right now with the economy, with politics going on in fucking America, and with inflation, you know, going so high, and with, you know, I mean, shit, when the interest rates are 8% right now, we're slowing to a fucking halt. So don't take it personal. Things, believe it or not, this is one thing that people don't know, especially people just got in it the last 2 or 3 years. Prices can go back up. It's amazing. A snake that might sell for the, you know, in the beginning of 2024 for fucking $2,000, that snake might be worth $10,000 by the end of 2025. You don't know that. It could happen. I've seen it happen.
And, you know, a lot of, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's like fortunate, right? We got so many people coming to the hobby, right? But some of them moving too fast. Like some of them. So, and this is why I love the ball python game, because when you think you got one step ahead, like you figured something out, no, you didn't. You didn't figure shit out. And you know what I'm talking about? The people who thought that they could only have to worry about investing in recessives. Don't need doesn't need any codoms right now, or you know, it's all about the recessives, like the quad, triple.
Well, people watch a lot of videos, and they watch certain people.
How does that ever make any sense, though? That's like saying we're gonna have this steak with no seasoning. We're just gonna throw this big fat slab of steak on the grill, but it's it. You know, like I guess it tastes all right, but goddamn, you have all this beautiful sides right here that you can just go ballistic on, and you're not gonna do that to yourself.
MJ, do you agree that in the ball python hobby, I mean, you've been doing this 3 years now, real hardcore. I mean, you know us, you know the industry, all that shit. Don't you agree that there's certain breeders that people watch and that they really derive everything that they are going to chase, what they're going to go after over certain breeders when their videos and all that shit and what they say is hot? Can we agree on that?
You know, what's funny is like, there's a specific reason why I don't watch a lot of ball python YouTube content, because it's all almost mimicked in the same, and it's all because of that dream that's being painted for them, not for the other. But people eat that shit up. That's what they want. People want to be forced to told what to work with. They're I don't want to say it's everyone, but a lot of people will say to them, figure out what colors they like themselves. Like, did you go see what you like? Maybe, like, why do you always have to ask someone, what do I need to put to this snake? Go fucking figure it out. I can't stand that shit.
There's Patreons and people paying people now to being told to what to breed their animals to. And I'm like, come on, guys, we need to start thinking for ourselves here and do what you want to do. And there's certain projects. I still play with the candy gene. Right. No one gives a flying fuck about the candy gene, but I love the candy gene because as an adult, the candy, I mean, dude, it's an amazing adult. Okay. Absolutely amazing. So that's a snake that looks great as a baby, but gets better as it ages. But no one cares. I still play with it. I just recently did some breedings this year that I put on the shelf just for myself that I hope to make something cool in the future. You know what I mean? From that. So people really need to start not always copying other people. I agree with you. Everybody's guilty of it, myself included. But we really need to start thinking outside the box. Like the Sunset Puzzle, when I made that, those things, no one else out there was doing that. No one else thought about doing, putting those pairings when I did that way back, 5 years ago. So yeah, for sure.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, it took you 5 years. Like, I mean, like you kind of put in the time and like the risk, like the whole like Hail Mary in a sense, which pulls off. This is why another reason why the ball python game is so beautiful, because look how it rewards you sometimes. Like if you're somebody who just shutting your fucking mouth and just putting in the work, look how the wave comes for you to ride in. Like it's nuts. Like it's so awesome.
Hey, that $150,000 payday would have been fucking great. You know what I mean? So
I can't believe that, Brock. $150,000.
Oh yeah, it was a legit offer. Yeah, for sure. They'd take it tomorrow.
You asked your wife about that decision. Did you?
It wasn't my wife that made that decision, so I'll just say that. So
but I'm just saying, did you at least let her know? Like, listen, I just denied $150,000.
Oh, we've been doing this game for 20. Been together for 21 years. She's been watching me, and one thing I love about my wife is she is so supportive, and she is always there for me. Even I lay awake at night. And I still am thinking snakes. I'm thinking snake pairings. I'm thinking what I need to produce, what I need to do this. And we're laying in bed and she's hearing about this stuff. And she's been doing this, MJ, for 20 years. So I got to give it credit. She clearly is my soulmate because she's totally cool with it. So it works great. Now I've got a question that I wanted to talk to you about, buddy, because you have got to talk to everybody and I don't get to watch all your episodes and all that stuff. So we now have genetic testing, okay?
Right.
And
RGI.
Well, I mean, I think, RGI. Are they one of your sponsors?
One of my sponsors. Yeah. Shout
okay.
to Sean. Rare Genetic Inc. Baby, check them out.
There you go. Okay, so what's your take on like the Desert Ghost situation? I'm heavily involved in the Desert Ghost stuff. When that all came out this fall, or excuse me, this summer. Everybody was confused. My customers were confused. My old, butt was confused. Hell, I think even my buddy Winston was confused. So kind of what's your take on this?
This is why I'm very strategic on who I buy anything from. You know what I mean? And I knew the DG shit that I had came from people who were making the DG that nobody's questioning. There's no fucking, I don't care what A, B, C, whatever. Look, that's how it looks and that's what I want. So I do know that I had shit that wasn't making me trip out. But it also made me realize, like, holy shit, like, how many people are throwing a fit over this who don't even have DG in their collection? You know what I mean?
I agree with you on that, but there was a lot of people, I think, that spent $10,000, $15,000, MJ, and they thought that, they were going to sell their DG clowns for $10,000, and they weren't being realistic because they didn't see numbers, they didn't see who all was playing in the game, all that bullshit. But when that came out, I think that really just kind of really rattled some cages because they were like, what? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Right. No, it was definitely like, and like I said, I had a couple episodes I built up off of it and it was great, but it was kind of like, all right, guys, I think we could kind of just wait things out now and just like not. And like I said, I was talking to close people of mine who I invested DG with, and they're like, I ain't fucking changing a goddamn thing. Like, it's fucking just treat it for what it is. And that's it. Like, just keep moving. That's it. I don't care if it's a polygenic recessive. I'm working as a recessive. That's all I know.
I think I personally, because I've been working with DG in my collection for 12, 13 years, whatever. I'm still treating it as a simple recessive. It's still
I got a question for you, Brock. And this is one thing that made me like, oh my God. And I don't know what it is, but I've even seen them in pictures. How come some DG clowns just they're not all created equal? Like they all don't have that same. And I'm thinking because there's another gene involved, most likely with these other ones that look so nice, either Enchy or Fire or something. But
oh yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I think, well, clearly, personally, I'm not a big fan of the Enchy DG clown. Okay. Just being straight with you. But it's weird because everybody shies away from pastel, but pastel DG clowns look really nice. Although, let's be honest, as an industry, everybody pretty much is shit on pastel, says no more fucking pastel. They hate pastels. I mean, my foreign customers, they won't touch pastel anything.
They call it a dumpster fire.
Oh, dude. And there's some snakes, bud, that are absolutely fucking amazing, and they have pastel in them. They're absolutely amazing, especially when they hatch out.
But put that pastel to Monsoon. That's when I shut the bro. After I saw that, I was like,
what? Thanks a lot, MJ. I got 2 pastel Monsoon males out there in that I just
Dude.
hatched out. Thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a
Take
lot.
them out back, bro. I'm telling you right now, dude, they're not pretty at all, bro. Like it's sad because a monsoon, you know what a monsoon is, with leopard and shit. It's like, whoa, look at this thing. But all that goes away when pastels
Dude,
involved.
I went to Dave Green's house in 2019. Dave was a personal friend of mine, has been for 10, 15 years, okay? He used to have been to shows with me. I love Dave. I went to his house and I had 1,000-gram pastel, monsoon sitting, and I'm taking pictures with my iPhone. And my wife walks up and she whispers in my ear, she's like, that's a monsoon. Like, yeah, that's a monsoon. I'm like, she's, yeah. That's,
wow.
Yeah. It is what it is.
But hold on, but pastel, like you said, it's proven to still needs its existence. Like we still need pastel with certain combos as we grow up. Like pastel's kind of getting a rebirth in a sense because now we have them in double recessives and whatnot, and we understand that pastel is needed case by case, right? Definitely case by case in this case. Like,
trust me, I tell my business partners, get rid of the cinnamon, get rid of the pastel. I tell them all the time. Like it's like, this is no secret. I mean, it's I'm like,
what's wrong with cinnamon? I like cinnamon. I've seen some cinnamon shit that looks pretty good. It's not common, but there was a cinnamon chocolate something I forget, cinnamon and chocolate that I thought was not bad. But I get it's all your taste, bro. It's like it's to each their own. That's all it is. It's like whatever
black pastel is way better. It's the same thing, We have a lot of things. I mean, MJ, you breed a black pastel, cinnamon, you're gonna get a black ball. So I mean, we have so many things that are similar but not, and like people will argue that Wookiee, is different than a clown, okay? But yet you breed them together, you get the same combo. I mean, it's some things are tweaked just a little bit different. I was really happy that Stranger is not a mahogany. I was really happy about that one. That was cool, So
that's another thing too, Brock. Like even my frustration kicks in when you have these genes that are being now called like the same gene, or there's like, and I get it. That's just how it flows. Like you're gonna have shit like that comes up, but they were saying Wookiee and something else was the same. What was the one with Wookiee?
Wookiee and chocolate. That's what you hear about. Wookiee and chocolate.
I don't see that at all. I have Wookiee and chocolate, and they're like, I don't know. What do you think?
Hey, so my buddy Winston will argue with me all the time about that.
Oh, Winston, your buddy Winston, dude, I have a bone to pick with Winston, bro. He chose raging at a festival over him making it at a Trap Talk Monday. He was supposed, Tony, I loved your episode, but Winston was supposed to be on my show Monday night, and he got nervous, buddy. He was like, I can't. You got to talk to him, bro. He got wet feet. He was at a festival having to.
Yeah, he went to a music festival all weekend long.
And I'm just kidding. I love that guy. That guy right there is something else, bro.
He's a trip.
And why don't you explain the relationship between you and Winston and how that even came about?
I've been having to answer that a lot lately, and I think because people are like, Brock, you're this way and he's that way, and I look right at people, I go, yes, we are. I literally tell people, I'm like, yeah, we're opposites in so many ways. What really is weird, and people don't understand this or probably can't wrap their brain around this, is that I think because we are so opposite that we attract, and that we attract to one another. And there's certain things that, especially when it comes to snakes and stuff, because Winston loves all reptile species like I do. And Winston has been a great conduit and avenue for me to learn, play with, and experience a lot of other reptile experiences. I go herping with Winston and stuff. And so that's something that by me spending time with him, because I'm also a fun-loving guy, I mean, just not as much as him, that we really bond really well, and it's easy. We don't really piss each other off or offend one another. I mean, he can tell me, hey, Brock, this, and I'm like, okay. And I can tell him, hey, Winston, you do this. And we have a really good relationship that way. And we really understand when it comes to playing the ball python game. Like, that's one thing that we're really on point with, that me and him, we're symbiotic that way. Like, we really think a lot alike that way. So it helps out.
I'm just jealous because, Winston, you're around Winston, you just want to be around him. Like, he has that good energy. You know what I mean? Like,
he's got real positive energy, and he can actually, as I've gotten older, he can exhaust you, but he calls me a volcano of energy. I don't know if you knew this, but Winston literally refers to me as, because he's one of my close personal friends, and he'll like, you are a fucking volcano of energy, which I still say I have liquid cocaine flowing through my veins, which is where I get all my energy. So yeah, I put Winston down a few times, and the guys, I think Winston's 6 or 7 years younger than me. So I feel pretty happy when I'm able to finally, outdo Winston. So it makes me feel pretty good about myself.
So here we have a good example. We have two different people in the same game, but obviously Winston's doing his own thing, right? Like Winston has his own shit going on. Now, how does that work out? Like, does he maybe ask for advice at sometimes, or you, or what's the relationship as far as like project talk going between you two?
So, we talk every day. And so it's good for me because I can bounce ideas off of him and he can bounce ideas off of me. And we do so many projects and stuff together and we've been doing this for so long. I got Winston into this, back in 2008. I'll never forget when he's just a, little 19-year-old kid or whatever it was. And he called me up and he's like, I want to get into ball pythons. I was like, okay. And that's how it started. But no, he's good because he understands genetics. He's super intelligent. And so it's good. And what I love about Winston is Winston doesn't always look at things the way I look at them. So I look at things to the right. He looks at things to the left. And so it's good for me as a barometer where he makes me understand things better. So, and I make him understand the other side of it. So which is good.
That kind of dynamic definitely makes things interesting and fun for sure. You know what I mean?
It does. It does. Yeah. I mean, it's good. And what I love about him is he's a good, genuine, friend for me. So that, MJ, and you've said this, I've seen some podcasts and stuff. You can agree that having a good, close friend that you can rely on all the time is a real valuable thing. I mean, that's right there. That's what you need right there. You need somebody you can really rely on and trust.
And my two main dogs that I rely on, man, and I love them even more after this. Like, they all have kids too. And then, like, now I'm the one just now having a kid. I'm like, man, you've been like rolling down here helping me, like, with a family. Like, I commend you, man. And like, just them wanting to be here for me means a lot,
Yeah.
But
important, isn't it?
It's very, I mean, it's just not, I'm blessed to have that, But with Winston, does he go to every show and help you then, or is it not every show?
So he normally attends every show with me, but he didn't go to the St. Louis. He had the party this weekend, and he had obligations, so he couldn't go. So he was not in St. Louis this weekend. It was my first reptile show I've done in years, a big one that I didn't have my Winston. So yeah, it was
wise man once said Winston will take a festival over anything.
Yes, Winston will. I agree with that. Winston knows how to enjoy life and love life, where I think some of us all could use a little bit of that sometimes, for sure. So let's start. We're going to circle back, brother. Like I think Jen Psaki used to say. You remember her? We're going to circle back. So we're circling back. So it sounds to me like you kind of think this genetic testing thing is cool, and that and I think it's cool too. I just how do I word this? I think that and I know they can only do so much, but I wish, brother, that they could do all the genes and they could show like certain genes are the same thing. Excuse me, that way we knew with a genetic outlier that we knew that this gene, gene A was the same thing as gene B that's labeled on MORPH market, two different things, things like that. I think we need that.
Yeah, and you know what? Trust me, God bless them, man. I feel like when you're in this position, people want a lot from you. They fucking want, like, okay, you could do this. Well, give us that, and I feel like, holy shit, we're kind of ripping them apart in so many different directions. And I feel like all that will come, but it's really on their time when they can do it, bro. Like, they're the one running the show, right? And so,
right
at the end of the day, like, fuck yeah, we want things to hurry up. Like, my thing is like the chondro testing. Like, I got good buddies of mine who want answers with that. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't, and so, one thing I will tell you though, which is great moving forward in 2024, Ben will be coming on like a lot more frequent. Like, we'll be doing like at least once a month or something like that, where we'll get more updates instead of people kind of just wondering what the hell happened since the last episode. There'll be more updates to it, which I think makes things interesting. But also too, man, there's people who don't give two shits about the testing. They're like, you know what? I like to fucking see for myself. And that's fun. I think that's fun too. I think
there's a lot of old school breeders that believe just what you just said right there, buddy. They don't want anything to do with the testing. And
that's cool. Respect to them. But I think it's more attracting to the guys coming in here trying to build a foundation and looking to buy shit, and also people trying to sell shit, right? Because how much does it change when you have a 66% or a pos het become 100%.
Oh,
That
it
changes everything, right? And then now you're not sitting on shit more likely than you would if it was a pos het. So that's why I feel like it's more important to the newbies or even people who are just building that foundation.
yes,
When you
than
already
it
have,
is to
when you're
established breeders like myself.
when you're no G-Land, I mean, like, it's kind of like, you know, shout to another sponsor, Clutch, right? That app. Brock, I don't think you have time for that. I mean, what do you do to organize yourself, Brock? Even though I think that app could help you, but I don't see yourself logging everything in individually. Like, that's a lot of work when you've already been doing it for this long, you know?
Buddy, I don't do any of that. I wouldn't do that. It's up here. My wife will tell you it's the craziest shit. I can walk into my snake collection. I can say, okay, that snake's over there. It's eating this. This is what it likes right now. Blah, blah. I know the genetics. This is what's going on. And if I keep any record, which I do keep records, but if I keep my records are all on paper because I'm old. I mean, I've told you I'm
I love
47.
paper records, man. I have cue cards and shit. And I love that. And I you know, I don't know.
Paper. I use paper for everything. Now the new younger techno kids, man, they got to get all their shit, you know, online and all that other stuff. And I'll be straight with you, MJ. I don't really would want all of my animals and all that online or whatever, just because of hacking or people could, you know, see everything, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm pretty transparent as it is, but I mean, I just don't really want that out there. You know what I mean?
Why is that? Why wouldn't you want people to see what you have going on?
Okay, so 5 years ago when I made the sunset puzzles, you know, double heads, I did that before anybody else did that. If I had that logged into
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
there's things I made this year that I didn't show anybody, and I threw in my whole batch that, you know, because that's where we're at in the industry, and that's what if you want to stay on top of the game and stay ahead, you know, which I'm not at the top, but I'm trying to, you know, stay where I'm at in my tier level, and you have to really think outside the box. You got to work there, buddy. You can't just tell everybody, "Hey, I'm doing this." I mean, because 20 people are going to copy as soon as you say it at a show,
And,
you know.
and that's why, like, dude, I've gotten a lot better because of the reptile game, and I've had so many things given to me, like information, support, where I'm like, I have no choice but to give it back, and I love giving back to people. Like, I get it, right? But I was not raised that way, buddy. I was raised from a fucking place where I didn't tell you where I got this shit. I kept it to myself, like, especially music. Like, I was a big music guy, and into my DJ career, I never told it. Like, people were like, "Oh my god, what's this song?" I told them, "Go fuck yourself." Like, you're not getting this song. Like, no, you're only gonna hear this song if I play it. You know what I mean? But like, but even in the ball python game, my mind was like, okay, I have an idea. I have something in 5 years I want to make. So if someone comes to me like, "Hey, MJ, what would you put to this snake, or what would you want?" I almost don't want to be honest to you, because I'm like, well, it's kind of close to what I want to make, you know. But then again, I'm not threatened either, because I know my shit's gonna be top quality. So I don't know.
Well, and you don't have to be dishonest with people. You just have to tell people, okay, good for you. And you move forward. You know, you move on with the conversation. You don't have to lie to people. You can tell them, hey, I'm moving forward, you know, this, that, and other. I mean, look at all the cool stuff that Justin makes. Justin doesn't tell everybody what he's got cooking over there, or what he's, you know, I mean, he's got great shit. He's got awesome stuff. And he comes up with combos. You're like, where the heck did he come up with that? You know? So I don't think I know for the longest time he had the white lace clown, because, you know, I had friends and stuff that saw it, and they weren't allowed to take pictures or whatever, show off the white lace clown, because it looks so damn good as an adult, you know. So there's that. It's I'm anxious to see like where we go as a hobby as far as like this genetic testing and what we all discover, and like you said, a lot of younger people. Oh, I wanted to touch on this. Everybody wants the monsoon test to come out. I talked to RGI, not Ben, but his partner or whatever in Daytona. I thought he said they were close to it. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But just the St. Louis show is a perfect example. I had 100% het monsoons on my table, and I had people like, I bought a possible het male, and now I've got and I had to fucking listen to this shit. And I've had to do that for how many shows? I'm like, Jesus Christ, come on.
Gosh.
Yeah. They're like, I've got it. I know I've got it. I'm like, sure you do. Okay, bye-bye.
Now, one of the most recent things that I've had brought up on the show, and just, you know, obviously just, you know, coming from the upper top of the breeders and just passing information, is like, you know, there's certain genetics or certain genes that can be thrown in a combo that can make that snake less valued. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Some of that being lesser, butter, spider, pastel. You know what I mean?
Spider. Oh God, everybody hates spiders.
So since we were just talking about pastel monsoon, what are you gonna do with that? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what's the move?
You know, I appreciate you bringing this up.
Being honest.
So there's not much. You know, I don't know. I mean, maybe we could get lucky. One of my pastels has either got yellow belly or gravel in the mix of the monsoon. So when they shed out, I'm gonna analyze them and maybe even shed test it. I don't know. One of them's got that, so maybe we can work towards the freeway. You know, the freeway monsoon, because who knows what that could do. I don't know, but you're right. The pastel monsoon can kind of be a little bit of a dead end project. I'll agree with you on that. You know, and we want to strive to make stellar, cool animals that people love and want. You know, so it could, yeah. Trust me, I agree with you 1,000% on that one. So.
Would there be another recessive you'd want to put to monsoon?
Oh, dude, there's gonna be tons. I mean, I hope to make the clown ones, you know, which they'll look a lot like that gentleman's made over there in Europe. He's already made it. He made a fire monsoon clown male or animal that I freaking love. I think that thing's cool.
That was in Europe?
That was in Europe, yeah. He's got his own line. Is Roland, the guy who has strangers, okay, or whatever. I can't remember what he called him. My memory's starting to slip, but he's got the same thing as Monsoon, and I can't remember what he named his. So he's made the clown version. I like that. I'm personally hopefully going to make the clown version this year. We got eggs for cooking, so we should make the pied here in the next. Winston and I will make the pied Monsoon hopefully in the next like month. So those eggs will hatch here shortly.
Oh,
so
but he calls it Murray. He calls it Murray.
Moray, yeah, Moray. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, why? Why is there another name? I don't get it.
Because we got to name everything. You know, it's
fuck,
so,
man. Like, is that? I mean, does he have? I mean, he has that ability to do that, right? Because he did he discover this or what's going on?
He discovered it over there. Clearly, you know.
So who called it Monsoon after that? Like, who's the dickhead who called it Monsoon?
So Dave Green actually produced it first and called it Monsoon. And it all, if you really want to dive into the Monsoon game, it all started out with Tom Baker. He's now passed away. He had it in his crystal collection because Tom Baker was the guy who developed the special gene. When you bred it to a Mojave, you made it, you know, that. And so Baker was disseminating animals out, and then, like I said, he's passed away now. And that's where Dave Green got his Monsoon. His came from that lineage and stuff. I heard a story, I don't know if it's true, that Roland over there had gotten maybe some crystal stuff, or I don't know if that's true or not. I have to ask. But anyway, he could, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's the same. That's right there. That's a Monsoon. So, and he's got.
Dude, that's fucking sick, bro.
What is that one? I apologize.
That's the fire. Yes, that's the fire. Murray clown.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a snake, buddy. I want to produce that. Doesn't that look kick ass?
Dude, that's fucking sick.
Mm-hmm. And there's I'm gonna say, hey, I want to add a hypo to that. I want to add fire to it, or those already got fire, but add hypo to it.
There's butter too. Like, look at this. This is butter. That's butter, you know.
I personally like that snake. I think that's a cool looking snake.
Wow.
They really remind me. I remember Red Boa telling me that they reminded him of the granite gene in the Burmese pythons, and they really do. They really remind you of the granite gene from Burmese. So
listen, like, I love the dark shit, right? So if this is just Stranger and Murray or Stranger and fucking Monsoon, I feel like that could turn into something crazy as shit.
Can you imagine adding hypo, fire to that, lightening it up? I mean,
man.
Dude, when you know, lavender Monsoon, candy Monsoon, I mean, dude, they're gonna look really fucking badass.
I really respect this comment right now. Lesser butter is not dead. I feel like it all depends, just like pastel. There's no way you could X out lesser and butter out of this shit. There's no way. You can't.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think lesser butter and Mojave all have their place. I still like the Mojave. My first Monsoon I bought was a Mojave Monsoon. I mean, it's a great looking snake. You can't. People like to shit on the Bell complex, like they like to shit on the pastel, complex. There's still a place. I have I'm working a puzzle clown project, MJ, and my male it's a butter spot nose clown got some other fucking genes, and I can't even remember all of it. And he's het for puzzle, and I can't wait to breed him this year. And you're gonna laugh because my females are pastels, and they're double het for puzzle clown. So, but hey, they're up to size. I'm gonna try to make something cool. We'll see.
Yeah, okay, I would say, man, this is why it's also so exciting to hang around. Like, I don't know why anyone would want to get the fuck out of the ball python game when things are just like right now are exciting, because there's a lot of what ifs. Like, there's a lot of like stuff that has not even surfaced yet. And we're getting little, like, I mean, look at shit that's in Europe, and like we're getting like little hints of what's to come.
Well, look what you just showed with the monsoon, brother.
Yeah.
Monsoon has not even been tapped yet. It has not even really been tapped yet. What we can do with it.
No, not even a little bit. Now, are there certain codoms you are like, no matter what it is, like certain codoms you are specifically staying away from?
I've been getting rid of most of my pastels, to be straight with you. I've been getting rid of most of my pastels. I've gotten rid of a lot of my lesser and butter stuff. I still have it, and I'm gonna keep it. So those are two, the pastel and the bell complex. Those are two things that I have been shying away from in my future breedings and my holdbacks, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you personally going to think it's going to, like, let's talk about within your own collection. What do you think it is that's going to bring Sunset to the top in your heart?
I didn't think I was going to get this. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, bud. I didn't think I was going to get this much fanfare and this much attention over the Sunset puzzle. I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. And all the positive comments and that and reaching out to me, I really appreciate it. I really do. I mean, it warms my heart. I do. And it's inspired me. And it's made me that now I'm thinking I definitely want to get hypo in the mix right away with my Sunset puzzle project. There's I think there's a lot of avenues, because like we just talked about earlier in the show, I think that puzzle is kind of like the new clown, MJ, where we're going to see puzzle combos we already have that are amazing, but we're going to see a lot more of them in the next 3 years. You're going to see some kick-ass puzzle combos out there, and a lot more of them. And I think
you just chose hypo over DG right now.
Well, DG's not I love DG and I have a lot of it, but DG is not the end all everything, because we saw, Miguel produce that DG Sunset, and I'll be the first one to tell you that, it didn't.
Whoa,
really,
you didn't like it?
I wasn't really that enthused about it, brother, to be straight with you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you've seen it in person and you think it looks great. I don't know, man. Videos.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I was like, okay, it's taken a while to see it, and I was wondering why.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and I was like, well, I took a deep breath. But then every picture he posted, it seemed to be getting better, though. That's why I was like, well,
it did get better as it aged. I will agree with you. It did get better as it aged, but it wasn't.
But Sunset Hypo, man, holy shit! I'm just saying. I'm sorry. The reason why I'm kind of happy right now, because there was a moment where I regretted going hypo over DG when I first got into this, only because how much DG fan base shit was that moment. There's everyone DG this, and I love DG. Don't get me wrong, still to this day. But I was like, well, that's sad. Like, I feel like no one gives a fuck about hypo no more. Like, what happened to that? And no. Oh my god, hypo's here man. That's a go-to right now, man. People are choosing hypo on certain combos over DG all day, every day.
Myself included. And I used to have a huge hypo collection. And me and another friend in the industry, we used to have like a little competition going between 2011 to 2017, where we would try to produce hypo shit to one up one another. And, even though sometimes people wouldn't give a shit. And anyway, I love that hypo is coming back. Hypo is an amazing, enhancer morph with so many different mutations. And I'll make a perfect example. Butter Desert Ghost. My friend Bob Vu had one at one of the shows. I held it in my hand. I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, I can't see it, Bob. Bob's explained to me why it was. He was not wrong. Then I seen it as it was 800 grams. I was like looking at it, I'm like, ooh, a Butter DG is a non-stellar snake. You hear me? So there's certain things that DG is going to go into, MJ, that just it's not a win, dude. It's not a fucking win. So you can't win with everything all the time. So yeah, and a hypo butter, by the way, a hypo butter, it's a damn good looking snake.
And what's crazy is, like, hypo being so nice as it is, it's gonna say DG because you just put it in it. Just put DG and hypo together. And there you go. Have fun. You can't go wrong with that either. You know what I mean? from what I've
yeah.
but that's a beast of a project though. I don't think people. I mean, how many people were ready for that? How many people were like, you know what I mean? It's
well, look at a hypo DG clown. I know that one guy on Instagram, Las Vegas Pythons. He just seems like a nice guy.
Cool
He's
guy.
always touting pictures of his, DG hypo clown, and it's a nice looking snake. It's a good looking snake. He has a good example of it.
It should be aging really well too, from what I can see. Like it's aging very well.
It's aging extremely well from what I can see. I think he bred that into Sunset, if I remember correctly, because I think he was offering some, quad heads up for sale or some stuff like that. So I hope he makes it and he produces it and it looks freaking amazing. I really do.
Now, we didn't talk much about white lace, but what is your take on white lace? How do you feel about it?
You bet. So I have some lace animals. I have a Batman lace.
Nice.
I got some lace clown females and stuff. I like the lace. I love the looks of the adults. Okay. As babies, I'll be the first one to tell you, MJ, I hope that they have genetic testing for that, because I see, like everybody else, I follow MORPH and I'm over here scrolling. I'm like, that's a lace clown. That pastel does not even look like it's got anything else in it. Like you're saying that's a pastel. There's like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of misidentifying of that stuff. How about that?
Yeah. And what's the best way to kind of work around having to get misidentified? I'm just saying, because sometimes, bro, people think they're getting the right information and they're only going to one person. And I always feel like you always have to go to multiple people. I feel like, but I don't know. What's your advice for people out there to not do that to themselves?
You bet. So we've had a lot, especially in the last 3 years. There's one breeder, I won't say their name, that has misidentified.
What do I got to pay you to say some names? I'm just kidding.
Well, I would get sued, MJ, and it was.
Yeah. You know what? I forget. You're too vulnerable for that.
I'm very vulnerable, and so I'm very cryptic and very touchy about that.
I got my first cease and desist this year. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Tell me about it.
No, I can't. I'll tell you off camera. Oh, I'm not telling you. Kidding me?
Actually, I hate to tell you this. I already heard about it through the grapevine, but yes, I did hear about that. And you don't want to fuck with them people, so don't do it. Thank you. Yeah, no. So anyway, there's been breeders out there that are holier than thou, and they have misidentified a lot of fucking snakes. And I can tell you that as people watch social media, they get hipped on a breeder, they really think they trust them and all that stuff, and they buy a snake, and even when they get it in their hands, they're like, I just don't know if this has got everything I'm being sold that it is. And I think people should really be more selective, and even some smaller breeders out there that are very honest, good people, that you should maybe start looking at buying from them, especially if their animal looks a lot fucking better than breeder up here who has got a name or whatever, but their shit maybe doesn't look like what this person does. You should go buy that one that looks fucking the what you think it should be.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, you go with your gut, right? No matter what it is. Like because like I've had my own people who I want to support, like, and help out, come to me ask me, well, should I go for this guy, and I know both guys very well, and it's kind of like, well, fuck, dude. You if you spoke to both of them, you kind of have to just go how you feel best. Like, you've already built relationships with them individually. Who do you feel best about? Like, that's and it's no hard feelings. Like, even if the other guy's nicer, what makes more sense to you as far as the snakes? Okay, I get it. We want to be friends, but that's not what we're here for. Okay, we're building a business. God damn it. So,
I'm gonna take that one step further. You should buy from the person that is not going to screw you over. So that way, let's say the animal is misidentified. There's people out there like myself that will take care of that 3, 4, 5 years down the road, where other breeders will tell you to pound sand. It's out there on the internet. You can do the research. You can see what breeders tell others to pound sand and to kiss off, where other breeders will go above and beyond and make it right, even 3, 4 years after the sale,
And it's crazy. You say that. I know those breeders that make up for it. I know those kind of breeders, you know what I mean? And I also have heard of the ones that were notorious for doing that back in the day, like putting just fake heads. And basically you have no choice but to say, okay, I'm going to take your word for it. But I'm talking like $20,000 deals on fake.
Dude, so many of my friends have gotten fucked over back in the day. Buying fake heads, buying things, just getting, and then I'm like, why are you not down there? I mean, if you do that shit to me, I'm not going to stop. You hear me? I'm not stopping.
Yeah,
That's when the pit bull, Brock. That's when you're gonna find out what I really am. Like I'm not stopping, so I get shit taken care of. But yeah, no.
there was I ended up because of Forrest. Ended up becoming good friends with this importer, but there was an importer who tried playing me like and I, man, back then, bro, 2017, bro, I was really bad. Like I was like, I'm willing to go out of my way to fuck you up because you fucked me over. You know what I mean? But it turns out that whatever I did over the phone made him want to make up for it, right? And I was happy, right? But that was kind of a relationship. He would do something really wrong and I would fucking go hard on him and he would make up for it. And that's what kind of kept me in, like, you know what I mean? Because he kept making up for it. But I do know a lot of people, bro, don't get that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some people who like just like, you're fucked. What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna do nothing about it. And I'm talking like open. There's people still in business today, openly known thieves, bro. Like, you literally robbed that guy. You owe that guy how much, and you're still in business? Like,
dude.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how? Like, what does it take to get a cockroach out of this motherfucker who's been?
It takes a lot. But I'll tell you this, MJ. I believe in karma. And karma always seems to get the fucking people, man. You can't run from karma, buddy.
It wins every time, especially in this, because guess what? People don't forget. And, you know, you end up being a piece of shit for so long. Who wants to associate with a piece of shit? Especially when there's podcasts now and there's social media exposure. Nobody wants to be attached to that. I'm sorry.
No. I believe in karma, and I believe that karma does finally weed out those bad actors in this. And there's still so many wonderful people. You know, there's so many wonderful people in this hobby and getting into this hobby that that's one thing I love. Is because, you know, I'm getting older now. I know that long after I'm no longer doing this, my daughters will, you know, hopefully be doing this, that the hobby will thrive and still continue on way past me, you know, which I'm really excited about that.
A little random, but you want to know who I'm a huge fan of? Is Brad's son, Kevin. I think Kevin's awesome.
You like Kevin?
Yeah, just because he's like, you know, mind you, when I first asked Brad, even I never gotten Brad, I only had gotten Kevin, but I approached Brad originally, like, can you come on the show? And he was like, he said, yeah, but then he was like, oh, I'm gonna throw my son at you instead. I'm like, well, that's fine. But then I saw, like, man, this is your generation. Like, this is the new one. This is the guy taking over right now. Like, it's the young blood, you know, and that was what, 3 years ago. And now look where he's at. I like seeing him at Tinley's holding it down. And he has shit that nobody has at their table. I'll tell you that.
They have great animals, amazing animals. I mean, next level shit. They just moved, got a new facility, and so I mean, they'll continue to pump out fucking grade A, you know, snakes. And that's one thing, that whole family, they nerd out. They get a new gene in, no matter what it is, MJ. They're gonna fucking nerd out over whatever gene you give them that's new to them, you know, and they're gonna go crazy with it. So it's good.
Should people be worried about breeding right now because of either overproduction or whatever the fuck? Like, how do we get people to just like still do their thing, but then also like don't put themselves in a bad position?
Right. Well, I mean, you've got a couple, like there's certain huge breeders out there and certain ones are scaling back now. Right. I think that, I mean, I think people honestly should scale back for the 2024 season. I really do believe that. I know personally I'm going to do that. I'm going to breed, like I said, I'm going to breed for myself, for future holdbacks, for future projects that I want to work on. I mean, there's some bread and butter stuff that we're clearly going to do. I mean, you know, it's just right now, people should not get out of the hobby. They should scale back their collections to manageable, affordable levels and keep their best shit and keep moving forward, because I think they'll be rewarded in 2025, 2026, 2027. They'll be happy. They'll be happy they stayed in.
I don't think you're rewarded until you're happy. I think you got to just be happy with where you're at right now and just kind of enjoy the ride and just like get positive thinking, right? Like, not to be fucking a cornball about it, but like you have to kind of like manifest positivity within your projects and just be excited for it. I think I feel like the people doing it right are the ones who are looking 5 years down the road and they're thinking like about that. They're not, because I mean, let's be honest, 2024 is already late. Like let's like, it's already here. It's coming. So whatever's going to be breeding is going to be breeding. That is what it is. Right.
Right.
But it's about what's happening in the next 3-4 years. I feel like I really do.
And that's, I agree with you 1,000%, because in this game, and I thought about this earlier today to talk to you about this, is that I want to keep looking forward to my future and to our future and that, because MJ, the day that I'm not looking forward to, 3, 4, 5 years from now in my snake business, I'm gonna be like sad, and that's when I know like end of life type shit. You know what I mean? Like you honestly always have to keep thinking that far ahead, and that's the excitement. You know, I think I have some friends that are older that are in this hobby, and I know that they constantly. That's one of the things that keep them going is that they're constantly thinking about Brock. In 3 years, I'm gonna produce that. Good for you. You know, it keeps them going, buddy. You know what I mean? It keeps them going. It's their quest for life. It's good.
I mean, don't you feel young? Like this shit makes me feel like a kid. I feel like I'm fucking like look what I'm geeking out over. Really, Snake? It's like this is great. Like, but I'm a grown ass man and I'm making a living out of it somehow. Like it's crazy. So
it is. I agree with that because I've become a little nostalgic lately because next year in my career, you know, I retire and I've been doing the snake business for 20 years and it's something I can retire in along with some other endeavors. And it really, I'm like, I can't believe that a hobby that I loved as a kid has done so wonderful and well for me and my family. I mean, I'm just eternally grateful for everything that the reptile hobby has done for us. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, very grateful.
One thing I wanted to bring up, we were talking about it, and I know we're just throwing this in now, but we were talking about the DG A, B, and C, right?
Right.
What did that mean to you? Like, okay, because from what and correct me if I'm wrong, what that means is A is the bells line or B is this line. Is that what it really meant? Is that how you looked at it? Or what do you look at all this shit? I have to ask you.
You bet. So to be straight with you, and then I think didn't RGI just come on your podcast and say, "Hey, they messed up" or something? I apologize. I don't know.
No, not on my show. They didn't say that, but I heard they did come back because they have their own podcast that you do on Wednesday.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so I wasn't sure, and I wasn't trying to offend them or anything like that. I think I'll tell you when I first heard, I was like, "What the fuck?" And of course, I called Winston, who's got a genetic background, and you know, and he was doing this, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is all confused." You know, if Winston's confused, I'm confused, and he's my source. So, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, I've been breeding this shit for how long, and it behaves like a simple recessive. Now, maybe like you talked about earlier, that there's DGs, you know, clown that look different than this DG clown. It could be line breeding. It could be that there's something else going on with it. I don't know. Between you and me, buddy, I really believe that maybe that they don't have this whole DG thing mapped out the right way. That's kind of what I think. I'll be straight with you. I know they could. No disrespect to them. I just don't think they maybe have it all 100% correct right now.
Listen, we're grown men. We're all grown ups talking, and this is a legit concern coming from someone who's a relevant breeder in the ball python game. So when I have Ben on, I'll ask him. You know, and because you know, challenging questions like this is where we get somewhere. Let's get somewhere with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think, and it's my understanding there's more people working with the genetic test towards DG. And I know that there's maybe some other developments and stuff like that, maybe up in Canada and stuff, where maybe they have some other results and other, you know, discrepancies and things of that nature. So I think when it comes to this science, which I'm totally for the science, I think maybe we're going to find out. We'll get some more answers in the next 2 years for sure. I think all of us that are working with DGMJ should keep fucking working with it the way that we've always worked with it and producing. And we'll know, because like we've talked about before, line breeding animals, we'll know that animal A and animal B, combine them together, you get a beautiful, you know, beautiful snake. But if you combine animal A with animal D or E, and you don't get such a beautiful snake, you don't breed those. You know, you breed the ones that make the prettiest, best looking animals, you know?
Right. I mean, that's how it works. You breed, keep the prettiest one, and keep it moving.
Yeah, you keep moving forward. That's how I look at it, buddy. You know.
Now we were talking earlier about like, you know, mofos not caring and just slashing prices up behind your back and all that. But let's just say if we could kind of look, because this is one thing, right? As much as there's new people coming into this, there's new people coming in together, and then they stick together. That means they're like buddies for a while, and then they hang out and they're growing. Their collection's growing together, right?
They form packs. It's understandable, yeah.
But there's a time and place where now there's productions being made, right? Now, I don't want to say competition comes up, but God damn it, it is a business, right? At some point, there's going to be some sort of like, I don't want to call it headbutting, but time and place where the way that person price might affect your prices or whatever the fuck, right?
You bet. So I'm gonna give you that. So I was having a good conversation this weekend at the Snake Show, you know, with Josh Lombard and Bob Vu, and we were discussing what you just talked about. And I've been around and I've seen a lot of pricing wars. I've seen a lot of shady shit with pricing. I mean, I've seen undercutting. I mean, I've seen all of it. And, you know, I've been involved in everything under the sun. I'm going to tell you right now, MJ, I don't really care. And I said this weekend, that person's pricing their sunset at $1,200 and my sunset's $2,000. I don't care because I know I'll sell my sunset because of my quality, my name, my reputation, all that. So I don't really care. And I think that people that they just need to take a deep breath and realize that right now with the economy and the recession, we're in a downward spiral as a country right at the moment. And that, things will come back and we can't, I don't think any reptile breeders should be getting in fights with other reptile breeders right now over ball python pricing, because I think that honestly would just be stupid. I'm not calling up anybody going, hey, why are you slashing the price on whatever the hell it is? It's not a worthwhile endeavor right now. And I don't think it's a place to put your energy. Honestly, I really don't.
I just know it's a lot easier said than done, man. Because people, we're in a time where everyone takes things personal. Like it's like whatever you just did was on purpose, and now I'm upset, And so, but really, like it's like what you said. Fuck that $1,200 sunset. My shit's $2K, and I know it's $2K for a reason. And I think you just need to realize and be confident with your own shit, and that nothing else would really matter if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. And salesmanship. I love the Bob Vu, one that you had where he was talking about salesmanship and giving pointers and all that. He did a great job when he was laying all out there. People, this is in the hobby, MJ, right now, salesmen are going to succeed. You hear me? People who actually have fucking sales skills.
Grinders, man. People out there fucking hitting the pavement, figuring it out. Like the
Hustlers.
Bob Vu.
Hustlers. I mean, you think you're going to out hustle Bob Vu? Good luck. That's all I can tell you. He's 34 and he's full and ready. He's full and ready to go. He'll out hustle you every day of the week. So, this is, and people who don't have any salesman skills or salesmanship skills, they're going to fall to the wayside. It's going to happen just because if they don't have those skills, you have to have those skills in order to succeed right at this moment.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Brock, your advice for anyone out there who's maybe just like, they try to keep it as low key as like, okay, I'm just in this for fun, but maybe they hit that stage of production where maybe you should consider turning this into an LLC or branding yourself better. At what point do you feel like that makes sense?
You bet. I think if you come into the ball python hobby and business, and you're spending anywhere upwards to $40,000 to $50,000 or upwards. I talked to a client about that this weekend. You need to either become a sole proprietor, an LLC, you don't need to become a corporation, but you need to look at an LLC or that, because that way you can deduct all the animals that you purchase, all the rats, mice, food, rat food, caging, all that, because that will help you in the future as you deduct. You can get tax refunds and it'll be a huge tax benefit for you. I personally believe you're spending $40,000 above, you should definitely go to a accountant or CPA or whatever and form an LLC or become a sole proprietor for sure. Get yourself a business license. I really believe that.
Yeah, and I don't know if I haven't asked you this, but you produce your own rodents, like all that's on you too, or no?
No, I actually do not. I actually have someone who produces all my rodents for me. I do have a small mouse colony. I just actually shout out to Freedom Breeder. I just got some new Freedom Breeder racks from Jesse there. I love Jesse. I got his new mouse rack and I love it. I produce a few, because I have so many baby ball pythons here. I need as much mice as I can get, so I do produce some of my own mice.
So there's so much back and forth, like as far as preference of feeding and like, you had JP going on a fucking rant about ASFs or nothing, right? And then you had people who are just at the Canova fucking VIP party who were like, oh my God, look at the rats that Canova's feeding their snakes. So it's like, where do you like to sit at when it comes to like where you feel is the appropriate meal for your adult, like what you feel personally works best for your ball python?
Well, personally, if someone is feeding their animals only ASFs and they're selling me an adult, I wouldn't buy it, okay? Because, I do have a small colony of ASFs and I use my picky feeders to get them back on rats. I'll use the ASF as a supplement, but excuse me. If all that freaking snake has ever saw was a freaking ASF, I don't want it in my collection or my colony, not at all. And so, I traditionally feed rats to my adults and mice to my babies. So that's where I believe.
And you're, I know I would like to get my hatchling on rats sooner than later, right? But I also have like a rule of like 4 or 3, like that I like to stick to. Is that something you do? Do you do mice and then get to rats as soon as possible, or do you keep them with mice for a while?
I'll keep them to mice till 350 grams and then switch them over.
Oh, really? Even females?
Even females, yes, sir.
Oh man, I thought about that. You know, because that's smart to do with boas, because boas have such a slow digestive system,
Yeah,
and you don't want to
metabolism
keep
slower.
feeding it fucking rats at a young age because it's a lot of fat content in a rat. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I always think that's a good. I don't know, because I noticed, like I have this one, every now and again you'll have this one snake that just only wants to eat mice, and that's cool. But I noticed this one snake that I have this year that wants to eat mice is growing quick, and I'm like not quicker than the others, but maybe and it's just on mice.
yeah,
So
buddy, I've gotten eggs, tons of eggs just this year on females that only will eat mice. They will only eat mice. They will not touch a rat or an ASF. They'll only eat mice.
that's kind of overlooked a lot, man. You know, and shout out to Levance, straight fire, because he'll say, hey, I only feed I mean his whole collection, I know he only feeds mice. And
Oh, really? He
yeah.
does not feed any rats?
From what I understand, from what I remember, he only feeds mice to his collections.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And again, like that's what works from him. I don't know. Like there's so many different things that people choose to take avenue wise, right? Have
you ever heard of gerbils, MJ? You ever heard of gerbils?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, dude. I've known breeders that they've made these 3,000 gram freaking adult females that have only ate gerbils. And they will refuse to eat it. Yeah, seriously, bro.
But
I've seen
that's like the time of the gerbil things was like back in the day type of thing, right? And nobody really does that now. Like there's
I don't know if they still do it, buddy. No one talks to me and tells me that they're openly just feeding gerbils to their collective.
That's like shit where like motherfucker, that's like I don't think I don't think 2023 people are cool with gerbils being fed. That might be too close to a pet. I mean, listen, do your thing. But I'm just saying, I think people are quiet for a reason.
I've seen some back in the day. I've seen some 3,000 gram monster females that have never ate anything but a gerbil. Okay, so I've seen that. So that exists.
Now, do you do any food cycling or like any kind of like cycling for your collection, or is it just straight fucking forward every single as far as feeding and stuff like that goes? I'm curious.
We're fucking straight fucking forward, MJ. We don't stop.
You don't change or stop anything. It's 24/7 is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. We don't stop. We're over here to breed, so we definitely keep going. The only thing that limits us is when the snake says no. That's what limits us.
Now, how big of an ultrasounder are you? Like, is that a huge?
I was one of the pioneers. I was actually one of the pioneers.
Tell me more.
You bet. I got my ultrasound. I traded a lesser for it, if I remember correctly.
What?
Yeah.
I love your stories, Brock. Your stories never disappoint. Tell me more.
You bet. So it was 2004 or 2005, brother. And I remember like VPI, Tracy Barker, she's the one that taught me how to ultrasound. And there was very few people that were doing it. I remember I traded a snake, thought it was a lesser. Correct me if I'm wrong. My first ultrasound, dude, stood up off the ground. It was like, this big by freaking this wide. I'll never forget getting it shipped to my house. It was a pain in the ass. And it was old as hell and blah, blah. And then I remember she walked me through how to do it. And then I had that ultrasound, for like 3 years. And it finally shit out on me. And then I got another one. And then I think 12 or 13 is when I bought I use a CTS 5500 right now. And I think I paid $9,500 for it back in the day. It was like either 11 or 12.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Now they're like $1,000 or something like that, right?
Yeah, make me cry. They were not that back then. And I laughed because when I ordered my CTS 5500 and told them that I was going to use it for snake breeding, they're like, "You're not going to use this for horses or dogs?" I'm like, "No, dude, for reptiles."
Yeah.
They thought I was nuts. So,
but they still sold it to you then, right?
But yeah, they wanted my money, of course. Everybody wants my money. I know that. So no, anyway, I taught a lot of people, coming up in the reptile hobby in the mid 2000s. I taught them how to ultrasound. So yeah.
Give me some advice, because I'm actually going to be pulling the trigger here soon. So I know.
Do you not have an ultrasound right now?
No, because I'm a bougie motherfucker. I'm getting one that actually connects to my phone. It's pretty crazy. It's called the Butterfly.
Is it the one with the wand that connects to your phone?
Mm-hmm. It's the Butterfly Ink. I've used it actually myself too. I know, and I've seen it. It's just really expensive. But anyways,
okay. I've never utilized that one. I've seen one before, bud, that plugs into your phone. That wasn't really good. I'll be straight with you. I've seen that at somebody's place, and I was like, this is not good. I'm just being straight with you.
I used one at my buddy's place, the soccer cheese, the exact same one that he was using is the one I'm getting. We used it on chondros, which I mean,
And you had good success.
it was great. It was so fucking easy. Like it was clear. It was just like how you would see on this, but on your iPhone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now I know it's a little different as far as you understanding it, I'm sure, and all that, but you know, as far as follicle, like to get the eye for it, because it's all about finding it, right? Like that.
So you find the gallbladder. So with the ball python, MJ, you get your snake midway through, you find the gallbladder. You'll see it. It's big, it's circular, blah, blah. You can't mistake it, okay? Then you go from there, and they're going to have follicles on the upper level, and they're going to have follicles on their middle, the mid level. And sometimes the follicles up on top will be bigger, but than the ones on the bottom. So what I do is I meticulously go through the animal. You keep, basically rubbing the wand over it. You find the ones, you freeze the frame, then you measure. Once you get good at it, it's really easy. What sucks is when you first start off ultrasounding at the beginning of a breeding season, because you got 5-6 millimeter follicles and they look really damn small, buddy. They look like small little peas inside the snake that you got to find. And if your snake's full of like food, rats, mice, whatever, then you got that, compost inside there or whatever, that it makes it hard, and you have to really maneuver the animal in order to find the follicles that you're looking for.
So is there a certain time on each female when you know to ultrasound, like because you're not really wasting time when you know it's 5 or 10? I'm sure you know when you need to go fucking pull that ultrasound on that female, right?
Well, so what I do is I ultrasound the collection every month. And the last 2 months I've just been, so I had 3 clutches laid this week. My colony's going really late right now. So I did an ultrasound last month, but normally I was ultrasounding every month is what I was doing, MJ. And you would be surprised at how many females you see go from 5, 12, go to 25, and then ovulate. Like there's so many times that the ultrasound has saved my ass and produced some very valuable clutches for me that I had no clue was going on. And so I really am a real huge proponent of the ultrasound technology.
What are the what are the statistics behind females building and then they stop building and they go down?
Oh, dude, it can happen. We all have different stories. I've seen females get up to 28, 29 millimeters and then reabsorb them for one reason or another. Excuse me. You don't get a clutch, and that sucks ass. So I have seen that.
I think I had 2 this year, and I was confused. I was like, "What do you mean?" Like I just,
I think there's a lot of environmental factors or other factors, that hormones or whatever, that affect the snake that make that happen. I know that, temperature changes, anything, buddy. It could be fucking anything. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like going through, like, I think like what you just said, I 6 months ago, longer than that, but January, we moved into this house. And even though we was only like 10 minutes away, it's a whole different room, whole different area as far as like,
Did you move the trap? I was going to ask you if you moved the trap from your old place to your new place.
Yeah, bro. It was fucking gnarly, bro. Like, I don't know how many trips I took, but I literally strapped. I strapped the cages to the back of my truck, bro. And I kept making trips. And whatever I could fit in the back of my little.
Did you run a U-Haul or anything like that?
No, man.
Man, damn you. Good for you, buddy.
Because it was a lot of trips, but it was like 10. I was only 10 minutes away, so I was willing to make that many trips. I didn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
See, I moved an hour away, and oh my god, dude, it was 3 days of hell of moving this collection. I hated it. So.
I don't care how far it is or the amount moving sucks. Moving your animals is the worst thing ever. It's the most stressful. Yes. And even when you get them in there, you're not happy until like you're happy. And it took me a while to be happy with this room. Like I was almost like, dude, there was a point where I almost didn't want to come into this room because I knew how much I was upset with it. Like I was like, it was the temperatures, the swings, the humidity. Like I almost wanted to fucking break down, but I was like, you got to figure it out, dude. And sure enough, I did.
Good for you. I mean, dude, but I just moved this year as well. So I can't sympathize with you enough. Like that, when I'm looking back at 2023, the move that we made in May, and it, how long it took me to get shit fucking right and the way I like it, because I'm kind of a perfectionist and all that shit. It fucking sucked. It was hard on me. It was hard.
Wrap up topic or question before we end tonight's episode.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I'm getting tired.
My bad, I know. Breeder loans, how do you look at those? Like, what's your advice for anyone out there who maybe could potentially collab with somebody, but yet how do you go about that?
You bet. That's a good question. I appreciate you asking me that, because like I get that one quite a bit, because I have partnerships with Brad Boa and with Winston, very heavily. And so breeding loans, I honestly would tell people in this day and age to shy away from them, okay? Because you want to stay friends with people. I've seen so many breeding loans that go bad. It's really, really difficult to do a breeding loan. You really need to trust the other person very heavily. And you should know them for a couple years before you ever give them your expensive snake and all that stuff. So I really, even though I'm a guy who's made it work, there's just so much that could go wrong. I really would shy away from it, to be honest with you.
And you know what's crazy is like, this is the one thing anyone out there should listen to, like you almost should expect. Well, first and foremost, if things go wrong, you got to just move forward with your life, man. And understand
dude,
that.
Don't dwell on it. It'll fucking make you go crazy.
You can't.
It'll make you crazy.
And this is like, and also too, to end it on that, it doesn't, you can't really just look at you being fucked in a situation as like, that's the end of it. You got to, how many people have been fucked and you just keep plowing through? Like you just got to keep moving forward. Take notes. Don't get fucked again. How about that? And just fucking move smarter.
What you just said, we can apply to anything in life. It doesn't have to be the reptile hobby. Just, you got fucked, you move forward. You know what I mean? You if you stop, that's when forward momentum stops. You're gonna, don't do that. You got to keep moving forward 100%.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, 2.5 hours went by quick. We had a
great conversation. I loved it. It was great. Thanks, MJ.
We just shy of 140 people tonight. What do you have to say to all the love and support, everyone out there who just,
hey, I appreciate every one of you that came out and watched me tonight. I really appreciate all of your support, all my customers, all my friends. I really want to thank you for allowing me to do this for 20 years. I really, really appreciate all of you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, 20 more to go, baby. Let's go. Brock Wagner, ladies and gentlemen. Please. Okay, so follow you on Instagram, Brock Wagner Reptiles, and also Facebook. They can also hit you up as well, right, Best?
Yes, sir.
You're not a YouTube guy, huh? You don't have any YouTube stuff? No, huh?
I just don't. I haven't gotten into YouTube yet. I mean,
maybe when you retire, you're
when I retire, I'm gonna do it because I think I'm a big dumb oaf, excuse me, and I think I can be entertaining as hell to people. I really do.
All right, guys, do me a favor, please. Give it up for my man Brock Wagner. It's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Brock.
Thank you, buddy. See you later.
See you later, bro.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone who tapped in tonight. Really good episode. Good turnout. Really means a lot for everyone who came and checked Brock out tonight on his third Trap Talk. But if this was your first time hanging out with us, get the likes up, man. Never too late to get the likes up. The likes are cool tonight, but they could do better. And I think Brock killed it tonight, so he deserves a lot more likes. So why don't you get the likes up for the homie Brock? And if this was your first time hanging out with us, do me a favor. I am 1,600 subscribers away from hitting 10K. One of my biggest goals this year was to hit 10K on YouTube, and I'm right there. So if you want to help me out, please. And if you've been watching my show and you're like, oh, I don't want to subscribe, do me a favor, man. If you really think I've earned it, hit that subscribe button for your boy. It really means a lot. I'm working hard for this, and I would like to hit 10K. It'd be great. But appreciate all the love, all the energy in the live chats. Appreciate it. You guys are great. All that. Be ready next week. It's going down. And I will give you guys that heads up right now. Just be ready, okay? Trapsgiving. It's going to be huge. And I don't think Trapsgiving is something that anyone should miss out on, especially if you're into green tree pythons, especially if you've been listening to a lot of my podcasts and you come from the ball python side of things, and you're like, damn, my MJ sure talks a lot about chondros, and I've seen a chondro guest here and there. Dude, this is the chondro episode, okay? It doesn't get much bigger than this. I mean, it can get bigger, but holy shit, is this going to be a major episode for any chondro fanatic out there, anyone who wants to learn more about chondros. This is quite the lineup, and it's not to be missed. So join us 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time Saturday for Trapsgiving, okay? This is going to be a very long episode, and it's going to be well worth it, all right? So tap in with us. Happy Trapsgiving to everyone. If I don't see you Saturday, happy Trapsgiving. Don't forget, exclusive content. If you want to be a part of the Trap family, if you want to grow with us, or if you want to just tap in with behind the scenes type stuff, join the Trap Talk Patreon family in the very first link in the description below. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord that will tap you with over 185 people, and then you also get tapped into the IG group chat. And yeah, man, looking forward to next week, and I'm looking forward to Trapsgiving. But you enjoy your night. Have a good night. Make sure you love yourself, love your loved ones, and have a good night. I'll see you here Saturday, and I'm out.